There you go, brother.
Yes, come on, camera. I don't normally do it on, other than doing my own lives because I don't have a choice. No, it's fascinating. There is what I was trying to say before, which now I understand when people say that they can't get half of what they want to say in the little text box.
Yeah.
Is that, good and bad doesn't exist, but it does exist at the same time. So it comes as the limitless possibilities of outcomes. The outcome is just based on your perception as to whether it's good or bad or not. But fundamentally, it doesn't exist. It is quite literally a social construct. It's something we both come together and say collectively, whilst we're having this experience, so we can do what we need to do and not get in each other's way, what are the rules that we can keep things somewhat peaceful? And that's basically it. But as you said before, we're programmed straight from the rip to see ourselves as bad, specifically the ego. Because that's what you are associated with dramatically, from especially when you wake up at 7 years old anyway. But it's literally indoctrinated from day dot, from the stories you watch, from the programs you watch, from the music you listen to. It's telling you straight away that if you do what they conceive as being bad, you are a bad person. But it doesn't exist.
Right? It's such a mindfuck. It's like the ultimate gaslighting. Because the reality is, like you said, it doesn't exist. So a big part of what I had to go through and navigate was that exact thing of like, I went through like real intensive therapy in 2020, 2021. And a big thing of that was my therapist just constantly reminding me is like, can it both be true? Because I would constantly get stuck between this spot where it was like, I hate this person, but I love this person. I hate this person, but I love this person. This person hurt me and they didn't. This person sucks and they don't, right? And it's like constantly reflecting back to me, two things can be true at the same time. I have a validated experience of what happened to me, and also this person has a completely different reality, right? People see each other differently, all those kind of things. And over time, that lesson of like, can't two things be true, just gets to the spot where, yes, and like you said, I don't think it exists. I don't think evil exists. I don't think bad exists. I think it's all love, all of it. All of it. Like every time somebody comes up, well, what about this? What about this? I'm like, how much can you fucking love? How much can you fucking love? Because unconditional love loves all. It's not picky. It's not choosing. It says everything and everyone, which means there's no bad, there's no evil. It's just the illusion, like we've been gaslight with, that there is. And it's fascinating because you just see it over and over and over and over again.
Absolutely. Because like you say, religion teaches, because our country and your country, we're all created on the foundation of religious conceptions. Do you know what I mean? So it's no shock that even within our policies, our laws, they're all based on what religion is basically saying from is it 10 amendments? I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, the 10 amendments. So that's the thing is I'm not super religious at all.
No, neither am I. I think it's a lot of bollocks. But I think one thing people always get wrong is you can fucking love to hurt people. Do you know what I mean? There's people like that. People love to hurt people.
Oh, yeah.
When you do sick shit, mate, people that do it either do it one or two reasons. Either they're lost in themselves or they genuinely enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people can love to actually hurt people. Love is the basis upon all things that exist. All things. And unconditional love, I figured out that unconditional love is actually found within one word. It's peace. Because within peace, there's neither high nor low. Unconditional love it is as is. Everyone is accepted. And I feel towards you in the neutral sense. Because God in itself is neutrality. It's neither light nor dark. It was before the conception of light. So I thought, fucking hell, when you actually realise it, when you're actually at peace in your heart, you can accept everyone, no matter what they do. Neither good nor bad. Accept everyone and have an open heart and willing to sit within them and sit with them and hold that peace for them. That's what I've realised, that I think people are misunderstanding, thinking love is bliss. Bliss is not, that's something that's created here from having the shift of the yin and yang, having these two states that create polarity. That doesn't exist there. That's the reason why you're here. You never experience intense emotions like that when you're there. On either end of the scale. That's why you're fucking here. It's really odd. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when you come from, you're just neutral. In fact, it is the best state to be in, is peace. That's the reason why monks sit there meditating for fucking their entire life on a mountain. It's beautiful. Once you find peace, your only job as a human being is to maintain that peace at all cost. Anyone gets in the way of that peace, they need to be removed. The one thing I always see within the spiritual community is they never, ever, ever integrate the ego. You are a human being. You are in the body of an animal. If you were to bring up a tiger and have this tiger from birth, hand-rear the beautiful little thing, and it loves you, it cuddles you over night time, yeah? Go and leave it for 3 fucking weeks and see if it sees you as mum anymore or your dad. You're no food. If you do not feed your ego and respect it and give it love, it will fucking turn around and attack you and attack other people in the process. You're in the body of the beast. You're in the body of the devil. The ego is the thing you're fighting against. Or you can just learn to accept it. Just learn to accept it and learn to give yourself love, give yourself grace, and recognize that some things don't really fit you anymore because it's a program that you never even accepted. So once you find your core programs, you start to realize that all these things that you used to do that were bad, it's a fucking learned behavior. I never asked for this. I never asked for this way of thinking, this way of talking, this way of acting. I never asked for these things. You look at it from the point you're born, which, technically speaking, the last trimester of a child being in the womb, the brain turns on. So from the point of the last trimester to roughly about 7 years, your brain's in the theta brainwave state. You're asleep, by the way, guys. That's REM. When you go to sleep, the first stage you go into for about half an hour, you're fucking sleepwalking for the first 7 years, mate. You're in REM. You did not ask to be brought into this world, technically, from the body's perspective. You didn't ask to be brought into this world. You didn't ask to have the parents and all these different things. You couldn't make those conscious fucking choices. That's why they're called parents, to guide you. Do you know what I mean? So a good portion of what you actually are, and especially if you're autistic, might add, because generally speaking, most people lose anywhere from 70 to 80% of the neural pathways, which is basically memories, but autistic people don't. So that means the program for autistic people is a hell of a lot deeper and much harder to uproot. So technically speaking, if you had a shit childhood when you're autistic, you're going to be unpacking that fucker for a while. You know what I mean?
I do. I know extensively what you mean. It's a fucking labyrinth, brother.
Yep. You all that extra shit for no reason.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? You look back and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? Do you know what I mean? Half the time, you can't relate to it because you've moved so much and found yourself. Now there is a direct shift and dichotomy between who you are now and to who you was. So looking back at it is now even harder. So the further you are away from it, the more you heal, the harder it is to go back to the point of where it was originally. Because you don't feel like it's you anymore. So this dissociation, you're like, well, that's not me. I'm done with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah, mentally, spiritually, your body, no. Your body does not forget. Your body is the thing that needs to be released. So trauma is held in the cells and in the fascia. Technically the nervous system, if you want to put it like that. So if it's held in those things, so if you don't release the trauma from the body, there's no escaping it. You can mentally bypass it. You can even try spiritually to bypass it. But the thing you're driving, the thing that decodes the 5 senses and the prefrontal cortex, that fucker is still picking up the wrong signals. You know what I mean?
I think about it because I've thought about it in so many different ways over the course of my life. And I describe it in here a lot that way too, where it's like pick up stuff that works for you and carry it, right? Well, grab a hold of this information and narratives and metaphors and ways to explain the human experience. Find the ones that work for you and that you feel drawn to because that's your body telling you, oh, I feel drawn to this. And so for me, a long time, I liked to think about it as a spaceship. I'm just flying around in this spaceship. And if I'm not in charge, it's got its own like navigation system. It's like the spaceship will take care of itself. It will modify itself over and over and over and over and over again to constantly take care of itself. And it has one mission, to go as long as it possibly can go. And I'm in opposition to it, saying, no, like I'm constantly running around fucking up the spaceship. Like I'm the gremlin in the fucking system, destroying it from the inside because I'm not aware of what it's actually doing. And like you said, it's designed to sense reality and to give you input and feedback. So you have to be in the spaceship. You have to be in your body. You have to be able to feel. Somebody came on here the other day and they were like, what do I do if I have a broken heart? I mean, that's a massive overgeneralization of the question. But essentially, it's like if you feel something that you don't want to feel, the way to get through that experience is by feeling it. Feel the experience of it. That's your system telling you this shit hurts. It does not feel good. I do not like this thing. That's the feedback that you need in order to recognize, oh, I shouldn't go in that direction then. I should go in the direction of what feels good. Whole system designed to take you to unconditional love. Like we didn't inhabit it so that it could fuck us up and destroy us. We just inhabited it so it could take us back to unconditional love, but we don't recognize that because of all the faulty programming. So again, like you were talking about, I love that you brought up like 0 to 7 years old, being in that theta brainwave. Theta healing was the first energy modality that I learned like at the beginning of my spiritual journey. And as soon as I figured it out, meaning like I got the teachings, I went to the class, I got the certification, all of those kind of things. But finally, I just had like something clicked. It was an aha moment of like, oh, I know exactly what this is because I've been doing this since I was a fucking kid. It's just dissociation and going somewhere else. I'm tapping in and connected. I've been doing that my whole life because we all have that ability to disconnect from the physical body and the reality and connect to this other thing that exists somewhere else. That other thing is what is the thing. That's where we are. That's what reality is. We are actually dropping into this fucking fake avatar spaceship thing to experience it. But I love that you brought awareness to it because it's like I hid so many things from myself in my body. I still am. Do you know what I mean? I'm still hiding things from myself in my body. Just this morning, I woke up and I was laying there just in bed. I hadn't even really gotten out of bed yet. And I had awareness of how I could like shift pressure in my body and just adjust pressure and weight in my body. It's like massive more awareness to like the internal infrastructure, like you brought up fascia, all of these things. When you start feeling things, you're going to start feeling things, which is important, especially if you want to connect and feel things.
Well, that's the interesting part, isn't it? Because the whole thing of what they're trying to do is to get you to think more and to feel less. You can't think and feel at the same time. It's a little impossibility. So you're either doing one or the other. And most people are stuck inside the mind and are hyper-analytical because it avoids the actual feeling of the problem. That's why some people have OCD as obsessive-compulsive thoughts. But that's also what they want you to do. So your true knowing in this life is not found in logic. Logic will always lie to you. It's as simple as that. You're only receiving 0.0035% of all available information that exists, not only on the Hue spectrum, but on the electromagnetic spectrum as well, which is technically the same, but we're going to say light and the energy that we feel, as in frequency and vibration in that respect. So when you think about it, all information is either coming through your eyes as particles of light, which are called photons. They go through a retina, the special cells, to get decoded into an electrical signal, sent through the optic nerve into the brain to be experienced through the various processes in the brain. We have touch, we have smell, we have taste, we have hearing. All these are 5 senses that are telling you something about your environment that you're internalizing by yourself. It's all an internal world. That's all it really is. We know next to nothing. If you use logic to understand your reality, you will always, always, always run short. And you'll always think you fucking found the answer just to find out that you don't.
Right.
The best thing to do is honestly to assume you know fuck all. That's the best thing to do, because the moment you stop thinking and feel, the download comes in. The moment you stop thinking and feel, you know whether that person's the right person or not. Do you know what I mean? You start feeling your body. Your body tells you very fucking quickly whether your surrounding is not good or not. So if you're lay there at 11 o'clock at night and you're fucking anxious and your mind's going, you can't stop thinking, your brain's picking up something in your environment, well, clearly your nervous system shock is shut. It's in shock, sorry. So clearly it assumes something in your environment is an issue, when in reality it's not. But if you're out in, let's say, a park or something, and you're walking over night time, and your body starts going bing, 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 that's a really good thing, because now your body's actually responding correctly. The problem is that if they keep you in fear, keep you in fight or flight, you can't tell the difference, because here's the problem, mate. And this is why I deal with what I deal with and why I use the methods that I do. When you're in fight or flight, you can't access the default mode network. That means how you think about yourself. That's your ego, that's your perception of reality, your internalization of that reality, and also empathy. But what it knocks off, more importantly, is the prefrontal cortex. So that's where all information is, and you can start making rational decisions and be responsible with your emotions. You can't do that if you're in fight or flight. So all these people that have their nervous system shut to shit, and it's constantly sending alarm bells off all the time, as if there's an intruder in your house, when in reality there's not, it then gets exhausted. When it's exhausted, that's when things start to go bad, really bad. And this is what I see with people. This is an internal system that we need to have in a neutral state until when it's needed. You shouldn't be at 11 o'clock at night when you're trying to sleep, be fucking, do you know what I mean? Feeling like someone's about to come into your house and fucking murder you. Do you know what I mean? That shouldn't be the case.
What were some of the things, Marcus, that you found helpful when it came to understanding not just all the stuff that you got done explaining about the nervous system, but more importantly, like, how did you start tapping in and connecting with it to be able to bring awareness to it? Because I agree completely with what you said. And for me, a lot of my life was adrenaline and chasing all of it and being pegged out at such a high level of activation all the time and survival, right? That it was like exactly what you said. I couldn't feel anything, very, all those kind of things. But what helped you in recognizing it and changing it and being able to bring awareness to it?
Well, I've studied a lot, which might not sound like it sometimes. I'm swearing my head off, but I studied a lot, and I wanted to understand why I was the way that I was. I mean, I couldn't figure it out. I went to psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, doctors, and they kept saying the exact same thing. They kept saying the exact same thing to me, that I'm too complex, and they're not really too sure what to do. And I was like, how the fuck can I be that complex? Surely there must be something here. And I went and did research, and then I found out that I have ADHD, autism, bipolar, type 2, borderline. These are all things that you characterize to understand, and CPTSD. Let's not go into the rest, but these are the things that I tried to go with. And I was like, you can fuck right off. I ain't having them. Do you know what I mean? I've only been officially diagnosed with ADHD. I have no interest in getting diagnosed with autism. I'm autistic as fuck. It's obvious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't need to be diagnosed and that stuff. So when I understood that I have ADHD, well, ADHD is actually autism. It's just expressed differently. The genes express different. Now, you can get ADHD and not have autism, but your likelihood of getting ADHD is in brain trauma and inflammation when you're autistic is significantly higher, because your sensitivity to the environment is so much higher that you're more likely to be traumatized, and then you've got a better memory and you're more likely to keep that memory. So your chances of being autistic and having ADHD, if you have a bad childhood, is extremely fucking high. That's why they're always in a comorbidity. But you can have symptoms of ADHD. So there are people who are not autistic, but they've had severe trauma as a child, like generally very severe as well. It doesn't have to be that severe with people with autism. Like, you're talking like brain injury. I mean, like constant fucking fear, like, being thrown around. Honestly, I don't want to say that kind of stuff. Like, that's what it looks like. So when you actually look at the brain, there's a doctor that did a study over 50,000 brains. There's a neuroscientist, and found that literally he could tell you from peaks and troughs on the prefrontal cortex, whether it's physical or emotional damage. Your brain should be completely smooth. So what that shows is, in the region of the brain where all these complex thoughts come along, complex emotions, there is now damage to that region of the brain, which explains impulsivity. It explains hyperfocus. It explains the lack of dopamine. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when you understand that, and now we're in a situation where you have a inbuilt chemical imbalance, you can learn to balance it, which is now where I've got this from. So in understanding the nervous system, there are two states, sympathetic and parasympathetic. So one of them, so the sympathetic is, everyone knows, fight or flight. It's actually fight, flight, freeze and fawn, to be exact. There's actually 4. And then you have the parasympathetic, which they refer to as rest and digest. So one is the alert state, which you want to be in to a degree, so you can go around, do stuff, focus, concentrate. But when it's too much, there's no rest. It fucking burns you out. Your adrenal glands get completely burnt. That's what we call adrenal fatigue. And then you have rest and digest. So I recognised I was in adrenal fatigue. And I was like, well, in polyvagal theory, there is phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So level 1, level 2, level 3. And I looked at it and I thought, well, level 1 is you're neutral, you're fine, you're happy. You're actually in, literally referred to as the rest and digest. Level 2 was going into acute, so it's a sudden thing that comes out of nowhere, acute fight or flight. If you're in that second phase where it goes into chronic, it then falls into the third part. Now, in the third part of polyvagal theory, this is where the body starts to die, it starts to shut down. This is when the body cannot repair itself, rest enough. The body's attacking the shit out of itself, and this is from cortisol. I've explained all that stuff before. So when you look at it, when you're in a high cortisol state, inflammation rises up more and more and more and more and more and more, which explains why people have bipolar, which explains why people have borderline personality disorder. It explains why people have ADHD, because if you actually look at the regions of the brains that are affected, and you look at the characteristics of all those different ones, they're all the exact same characteristics, the exact same personality traits. So it's the exact same thing then, isn't it? So what does it come down to? Trauma, inflammation. I learned if you reduce inflammation, the symptoms drop dramatically. I learned if you reduce inflammation, your body goes out of fight or flight and goes into rest and digest. I found that once you're in rest and digest for at least 30 days, your nervous system resets itself, generally about 5 or 6 days, but then it builds an actual tolerance. Therefore, you don't actually fall back into fight or flight as much. In fact, you can actually be in extremely stressful situations where you'd literally drop a spoon and you'd fucking flip, to where you can have your kids screaming, smashing stuff, and you're able to react calmly. No one has taught anyone how to reset their nervous system. We do it naturally all the time without even realising. What happens when you're stressed? What's the sound you make? Well, the question is, why do we do that? Because nothing's random. So the breathing in deep and the sound, so bottom of your lungs. So we have something called parasympathetic fibres, and there's a greater concentration at the bottom of your lungs. So when you empty your lungs fully, you're now activating parasympathetic nervous system. You're going into it. So, and then this sound, that's not random. You're activating the vagus nerve at the back of your throat, which literally helps calm your body down because it's the parasympathetic nervous system. And the other thing that we do is we look up and we put our eyes into the back of our head, which actually changes the brainwave state, which pulls us into fucking...
Isn't it fascinating, dude? That's why I'm saying, like, when I looked at it through the lens of a spaceship, I'm like, this is the most brilliant spaceship that ever existed. It's got a plan for everything. It doesn't matter what you throw at it. This spaceship's got a fucking plan for it. It's always protecting itself, even when the person flying the spaceship isn't. Like, even when you're completely oblivious, like you're in cryo sleep, you haven't woken up yet, which means you're just completely at the mercy of your ego and all of these programs, thinking that life is happening to you, right? And then finally you wake up and you're like, shit, what's been going on? I got to figure this thing out. In the meantime, spaceship's just been doing its job, keeping you safe the whole time. The back of the throat, I think it's funny you brought that up with the polyvagal thing, because earlier I was teaching this breathing technique. It's ocean breath. It's activating this part of the throat and breathing from that place. And what it does is it not just helps you calm down and relax, but the vibration as well is vibrating that nerve back there as well. So that's why it is so calming, because it's doing like multiple things on different levels to help you come out of the brain and down into the body.
Absolutely. That's the reason why I've developed a course and various techniques around this, because I started to understand the science, and now I've figured it out that there has to be a delicate balance in your body between oxygen and carbon dioxide. So we have to, hi Mark, you have to breathe in a certain way for a certain period of time. So if you breathe in for 10 seconds really slow, you reach maximum point, and you hold for 5 to 10 seconds, generally 5 for me, people are not used to it. Breathe out for 10, making that sound, hold for 5, and box breathe like that. What's happening is you're actually balancing the amount of carbon dioxide being expended and the more oxygen rising back into your blood. So a lot of people don't realise that. You would think realistically they're not getting enough oxygen. In some sense, yes, but the oxygen is not necessarily the issue. It's actually the complete expenditure of carbon dioxide. When there was too much carbon dioxide being expended, carbon dioxide is a waste product of cells. So what it means is if oxygen is food and the carbon dioxide is poo, if you're only eating 30% of your fucking calories and you're shitting out 100% of your food, it's not going to be too long before you're not going to be doing too well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is why people are in the worst position. So I've put it like this. The three things that are most important to life, so food, water, and oxygen, which is the most important one you should be paying attention to begin with. What can you not go more than 5 minutes without?
It's your fucking breath, brother.
And then it's water, then it's food.
Yep.
If you aren't having a good day and you're in fight or flight and you're all fucked up, there's two things you're definitely not got right. And that is the amount of water and that is breathing. So sit the fuck down, take a deep breath, stay there for 5 minutes, get yourself a nice glass of water with salt. If you drink water with no salt in it, you are flushing the electrolytes from your cells. Your cells cannot defend themselves. There's a membrane on the outside of the cell. It can't defend itself. That cell will get damaged and it will rupture and release from the nucleus an unpaired electron, which is what people refer to as free radicals, but it's a positively charged electron, which basically messes something called the bioelectrical system, which is how cells communicate, which means that they don't do the job properly, they don't repair properly, and also they keep thinking that they're attacking each other. So your white blood cells end up attacking them more and more and releasing more and more. And that's how people get into mass inflammation. So if you just literally just do those two things, but do those two things with your fucking feet on the ground outside and breathing in fresh air, this will change everything. If you can do that for 10 to 15 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day, if you're an anxious person, watch how much it shifts you. People smoke cigarettes and fucking vapes for the same reason, Blue. That's what they're doing.
I smoked for 20 years, dude.
Yeah, so I did. Well, not 20 years, but yeah, I did. Quite a long time.
That big... I love that first drag of a smoke. And that's the whole purpose, right? For that big, exactly what you just described. I'm doing breath work. Now I just have to eliminate the toxic carcinogen that's going into my lungs. But it's exactly the same thing. You're right, man.
Yeah, it's also for, remember, someone like yourself, because, no one to make too much of an assumption, but I assume you're on the spectrum just like me.
Very much so.
You know what I mean?
On a big, beautiful spectrum just like you. I hit all the same markers.
No. It's fucking mad in the universe. So when you look at it, we're talking about stimulants on this. We don't produce enough dopamine. Just fact. So you've had a bad childhood by the sounds of it as well. So now we've got brain damage on top of brain inflammation. So being autistic, you would have been somewhat fine. Do you know what I mean? You can be completely fine and be, to be honest, to be quite satisfied being autistic, because yes, there is a dopamine lack of production, but when your brain is more significantly damaged through trauma, it really is not efficient at all. It's really not efficient. So we have less. So that means even to do what you're doing and what I'm doing is a fucking miracle, because the sheer amount of willpower and energy it takes to do the simplest things is wild. But that also explains what addictions are. That also explains why people chase highs. It also explains why they hurt themselves. Because all these things create endorphins. Endorphins are 3 neurotransmitters. They bind to morphine receptors in your skull and in your spine. This is what gives the, like, what do you call it, like the SSRIs, serotonin uptake inhibitors. It's a bit like that. It has a bit of a rapid uptake in serotonin, basically what it is. And same with the spine, it reduces inflammation, the signals of pain to the spine, not inflammation. But technically it does, but in a subsection way. So when you realise that all these addictions is your body just trying to find itself back to homeostasis, you start to then think, oh, okay, well, if I'm doing all these things, which could be having intercourse, could be chronic masturbation, watching porn, drinking alcohol, taking drugs, whatever, smoking weed, whatever the fuck it is you're doing, what is actually happening is your body is sending signals to your brain. It needs to go back to homeostasis. If not, this is what happens, and I'll tell you the process, and this is why it's fucking terrifying. This is why I say to people, if you are literally somebody who has an addiction and you can't find a way around it, you don't feel so fucking bad, because I'm telling you the alternative is much worse. So in this perspective, if you stop doing whatever your addiction is. You stop it altogether, and you don't have anything that puts you in that position to release endorphins, to feel good. You cut everything down. Comfort food's another one. If you do those things, what is going to happen over time is that you're going to breathe really shallow. Fight or flight's going to get worse. And the more you do this, your body's now going to be seriously out of whack. When that happens, your body goes into something called respiratory alkalosis. This is the pre-phase before having a panic attack. The reason why a panic attack, in my theory, because I can't see any kind of literature on this, but fuck knows that they haven't figured it out, is that when your body is in that state of high cortisol for too long, and a heightened state, a very heightened state, your body actually pushes you further into respiratory alkalosis to actually make you have a panic attack, because the chance of you having a heart attack in that stage actually gets much higher. So I believe it's the body's last-ditch attempt to try and save your life.
To slow it
so
down.
Panic attacks are fucking awful.
Yeah.
But if you know how to stop that from happening by breathing properly, you can avoid it. But if you don't know how to fucking do it, you're in bad fucking... You're fucked.
Yeah, man.
That's why addictions are so ruthless, because you know when you don't do it, you feel 10 times worse. But you feel fucking bad doing it. So it's the devil, evil end of the spectrum. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what's so difficult about this. Thanks, Chris. That's what's so difficult about this, because you've got to try and pull yourself out of an addiction. But if you have nothing there as a foundation, no built-up pattern of doing breath work and grounding, hydration, eating good foods that don't cause inflammation, knowing how much to exercise and the right kinds of exercise. If you don't know these things, no matter what you do, you are going to fucking fail and fall right back, and you're going to kill yourself in the process.
You know, so much of this I see through the lens of like, because all of my stuff has come over. What I mean by that is like, I really explored, like my healing was the inner child. My healing was shadow work. My healing was understanding my past, my experiences, but through the lens of very much the inner child. And it's like everything you just got done explaining, like how to take care of yourself, how to feed yourself, how to ground yourself, how to literally care for the meat suit, airplane, spaceship thing that you're flying around. Nobody teaches you. So you're taking care of it the same way that you took care of it when you were little. Whatever happened to you, if somebody wasn't there to teach you how to take care of this spaceship, you just did it the best that you could based upon the experiences that you had. So you had to learn how to take care of yourself in the way that you did. Enter in coping mechanisms, enter in all the ways that we would soothe ourselves, all the ways that we would get our nervous systems to that regulated state where we kind of can just like relax, even if it's from a dissociated place. And so for me, it was really about understanding what happened so that I had an understanding of what was activating my nervous system. And then I could see how it would be activated by other things in the present moment and the correlation and connection to those things. Very helpful for me to see that. But at the end of the day, I just treat it like I'm teaching my 4-year-old little boy how to take care of himself. Buddy, we got to drink water. Buddy, we got to get some rest. Buddy, we got to go outside. You haven't been outside for a while. You know how important it is. We like going outside. All of these little things, like I'm just helping my little 4-year-old figure out how to fucking be alive and be in existence and be in this space. And that alleviated so much shame and guilt. And like, I'm such a fuck up and here I am, I'm 40 years old and I'm still doing this stuff and I'm so worthless, and all of that inner voice, negative stuff that did nothing other than feed the toxicity. And by flipping it around and just being like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense why I suck at life, because nobody taught me how to do it. Nobody taught me how to fly this spaceship around. No wonder
they didn't even know either.
Right? Exactly. Nobody knows how to do it in a grounded, healthy way.
You know, the sad part about this is, mate, that it's good that people like me and you exist, because even these so-called experts don't know what I'm talking about, brother. What I've created and what I've figured out, I've not heard anyone figure out. They've not figured it out, and if they have, they haven't put it in a way that's easily digestible. I just can't see it.
I think that's the key right there. Like it's being able to articulate and explain things in such a way where they're easily digestible, so that people can not just grab a hold of them, but like resonate and connect with it. Do you know what I mean? Like some topics and ideas and things like that are way over my head, and it's not because that's not for me. It's just simply because it's not explained in a way that's easy for me to understand or in a frequency that I'm at.
100%. I think it's very common as well with people who are highly intelligent, you tend to stick to it, an ego. Like, I think it's mad. I mean, I used to be the same.
Dude, I was going to say, like, that's my whole life. That's my main coping mechanism is I'm right and you're wrong. That was one of my really priority. Like, that was one of the core lessons that I got from my mom was she's right and everybody else is wrong. Cool. I'm just going to mimic that. I'm right. Everybody else is wrong. It's the way that I keep myself safe. Do you know the answer? I sure do, because I'm right and you're wrong. Everybody can come to me because I have all the answers. Obviously, I have no fucking answers. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm faking it the whole entire time and I don't even realize it. But it's recognizing that, like, oh, wait a minute. I have to let go of all the things that I think I know and just go super curious about everything. And you were talking about it earlier too, where it's like, you know, I got really, really, really smart. Like, the smartest day in my life was the day that I recognized I knew nothing, where I let go of any idea that I had any clue what the hell I'm talking about.
And eventually we come across somebody who's actually smart, because that's the smartest thing you can actually say.
Right.
By any metric, I'm not stupid. I'm a very smart person. And I think I'm, realistically, in the most humble sense, I think I'm smarter than most people. But that also makes me fucking really dumb. That makes me dumb, because you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You know? Some people that lack the cognitive intelligence have that feeling, their intuition is pinpoint. That intuition is by far more intelligent than anything the fucking human brain could come up with. My intelligence made me thick.
Yeah.
And the moment I realised that this is bullshit, this is the truth.
Right. It's the struggle between, like, spirituality and science. It's the big argument between, well, science is science, right? Science is fact. Science is, yeah, spirituality is great, but that's just pretend. It's science, and science is limiting, like, the way that science keeps itself stuck is this thing here, right? Thinking that it knows everything. You got to let it go.
Well, for a start, mass majority of science is theoretical. So it's not even proven.
Isn't it all fucking theoretical? Like, we're pretending that we have an experience that we know. Like, it's all fucking theory, dude.
There are some measurable. So the only thing that's truly measurable as a fact is a scientific mathematical equation, because numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. You use cards and numbers are in that. Numbers don't lie. Any language you use is all man-made bollocks. But numbers do not lie. It shows within this construct anyway, sure shit don't exist past this point, but in this construct we're in, numbers gives us a really good indication of what's actually going on. So we have actually got some things right, but there are other things we've just got massively incorrect. Do you know what I mean? I think, as an example, gravity, most people go, yeah, gravity, it's mass attracting mass, isn't it? Is it? Can you tell me what is inside matter? Can you tell me how much weight exists in matter? So out of 100% of the matter, can you tell me how much of that actually has mass?
I mean, if you're asking me, I don't have the answer.
They don't know. So I say, actually, this is what's crazy. 99.10 times 9, hollow. There's next to zero mass in there. So what the fuck are you on about mass? It's just an empty space. If you actually looked at yourself and what you're constructed of, it's just a big and empty space. These random particles, bing, bing, bouncing around, creating density, creating light as we perceive it. It's all bollocks. So what the fuck are you talking about? Mass attracting mass? Doesn't make any sense. I've got one for you. So, yeah, go on. I've got something to tell you in a minute. I'll blow you right off.
Go.
So I figured out something, you know. And I was breaking down. So I go into quantum physics sometimes. And I know that quantum physics, well, one of the greatest... the people actually came up with it. One of the forefathers of quantum physics said, quantum physics, the only time you ever truly understand quantum physics is when you realise you know fuck all. That's it. Because it's all just, I don't know, best guess. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when I was looking at the construction of the atom, so the atom has a proton and neutron and has electrons that it draws in. So before that state, it has to go from a particle, so it's referred to as an elemental particle, then goes into what is called quarks. Quarks create the state of protons and neutrons, create a nucleus, then pulls the atom in. So if you look at an atom, it looks like a planet with moons rotating around it, which is interesting because when you look at it from the atomic state and you look at that planet, and you look at the solar system, but then you look at the universe, it seems to be the exact same kind of construct. But let's just go back a second because we'll go well into the fucking weeds with that one, trust me. Well, there's 100, if I remember correctly, 117 elements on the periodic table that we know of. This is where it gets creepy. When people say to me, can you prove God exists? No one's ever used this argument, and I don't know how they haven't, but clearly that might be my fucking job whilst being there. I go, yes. For a start, we look at this whole world, it's based on duality and polarity. Proton, neutron, electron, positive, negative, neutral. So you've got a negative force pushing to create and keep the nucleus, to keep you solid. So you have to have stress, you have to have things that are difficult, because that's what keeps you balanced. Otherwise, the proton and neutron fall apart. But if the proton is too positive, it pushes the electron away, which then it falls apart anyway. So if it's too strong of a proton, so if it's too negative or too positive, it ruptures, the reality falls apart. So the key is to stay as neutral as possible, because the neutral is making sure either side, the proton and neutron, keep an equal force. Tell me that's not this fucking world. So first of all, that's weird, because just from the atomic level, we've now proved that these theories, which are ancient theories, that there has to be a direct balance between positive and negative to keep the very construct of reality as it is. But this is where it gets even more interesting. Some people say to me, well, how can you prove God exists? Well, there's 117 elements. Every atom has an element behind it. Who the fuck assigned the element to it? Who assigned the element, which is the amount of protons in it to create different elements? Who assigned the properties of those elements? That's weird. So everything is constructed of 117 elements. Say this coffee cup. It has multiple elements to create the concept of glass. So your physical reality, everything you've ever needed to create anything around you, already exists in the atomic level. But the question is, where did that come from? And who gave the programming to these atoms? Because they can't program them fucking selves, can they?
This is the fun part of the conversation for me in my head, where I go to consciousness, and because everything that you just got done talking about, I see through the lens of, and again, it's like I'm always oversimplifying things for this 4-year-old boy that I'm trying to teach how to human, right? So I see it through the lens of The Matrix, because I loved that movie. And I see everything that you just got done describing about quantum physics and the atoms and the nuclear, all of it, which makes complete sense to me. And I think it's also the way that we explain the Matrix. And I'm not interested in explaining the Matrix. I'm interested in understanding the other side of the Matrix, the duality of what exists outside of this time and space. Because in my mind and in my experience, I feel like everything
I'm not so convinced. I have to say this to you, because I'm not so convinced that I had a download recently, and I've been, mate, you want to see the shit I've been fucking working on, it's been wild. I figured out, you know the yin and yang symbol?
Uh-huh.
The yin and yang symbol, what I realised is that it's 2 dimensions that are pushing in on each other. That creates the world. Now, if we look at how, it's hard to explain, how electromagnetic fields work. So let's just think of this. There are 2 points that exist, and in the centre, it creates the energy. The electromagnetic field. So a human's the centre, and there's 2 opposing forces, one pushing against and one pulling, which is what we refer to in quantum physics anyway. I think this is the physical reality of the non-physical dimensions that exist. I think it exists from the soul, from the person, from the planet. Because if you look at Mother Gaia, the planet Earth, and you look at the electromagnetic field it creates, it's the exact same as humans. You look at the electromagnetic field of an atom, it's the exact same electromagnetic field. The universe, the black hole theory, exact same electromagnetic field. It all exists as you go further back, as within, so without, as above, so below.
That's what
you know
I'm
what I
saying.
mean?
Absolutely.
That would mean that it only exists in this construct, bro. Which means none of this, duality, the two opposing energies as the proton and neutron, or proton and electron, should I say, this doesn't exist outside of this. So what actually exists out of that is not polarity. So then what the fuck is it then?
Right? That's what I'm saying. That's singularity. So every time I'm in the space of thinking about duality, positive and negative, light and dark, push and pull, gravity doing this, gravity doing that, I know, and again, this is the way that I'm currently operating, meaning this is like me reprogramming myself with new ideas and new beliefs on a constant basis, just continuing along the way as I'm gathering information and feeding myself different thoughts and ideas about what this fucking existence is. And it's looking at it through that lens of if it's duality, then it's the matrix. And I'm only interested in things that are outside of that. So every time I come up to a spot where I can see that there's two, where I can see that it is as above, so below, I know that I'm looking at something through the lens of the matrix, and I want to see it outside of that. And I want to understand singularity. I want to understand one consciousness. I want to understand the push and pull, yes, but that push-pull dynamic exists because there is this other thing. And that's the other thing I think that I'm not just most curious about, but I think that that is the thing that created this thing. And again, the big illusion part of it being separate when really it's not. And so I like the rabbit holes that science presents because I think it's interesting and I think it's necessary for creating things in reality, which means if I want to create things in the matrix, I need more information and data to do that. I can't create what I don't have to pull from. But at the same time, I'm creating all of this experience in some other dimension in reality where space-time, duality, quantum physics, all of those things become non-starters. It's the peace in the void that you were talking about earlier. There's this void spot. I don't know if you've ever touched upon this void that exists where suddenly, yes, it's the peace and the calm, but it's like there's nothingness. It's the nothingness. Right, the little orange here, there's this space where it's a void and sound disappears, everything disappears. And it's like, you don't even have suddenly you're the only thing that's there and there's nothing. And you're like, what?
You've just found your answer.
Right?
Because that's the answer, bro. So what you're searching for is you're trying to find an intellectualization of it.
Exactly.
The truth is, you already found it. So just for anyone who's here, I always be careful of the things that I say. What you're referring to, like this polarity that exists, it's a universe splitting itself in two to experience it itself. It is both positive and negatives. That's what it is. Where you went to, the place where nothing else exists, that's where you're from. It's before thought, before sound, before everything, the simple observation. We are that. You got to experience yourself. That's the fucked up part. That's why peace is the closest you can be to your true self, what you really are, whilst being in the physical. Because as you said, it's a place of peace, but it's a place of everything and nothing all at once.
Yeah.
And that's the possibility. So that's why we do what we do. That's why we create these worlds to go into. We are experiencing ourselves, and the only way to experience yourself is to split yourself into two sections. That's the only way.
Yeah.
It really is. So when you realise that this conversation is a conversation I'm having with myself, on the grand spectrum of things, yeah, but whilst we're separate, whilst we're having two different experiences of it and two different journeys of the soul, we are in fact different. It's like the way that people get this wrong all the time is that, well, I am you and you are me. Yes, technically speaking, but it's like saying that if me and you had the same mum and dad, it's like saying we're the same person. You know, we were created from your mum and dad, but we're not the same person. We share the same genetics, maybe ever so slightly different, but the personality and our perception shifts. So we are not actually the same. But ultimately, if we all go back, we're all the fucking same. There's the collective consciousness. But that's what you found. That's the reason why we do this, bro. That's the reason why we forget when we come here, because we know what is there. Do you know what I mean? There's nothingness. We create everything. Everything. Even in this space, everything you do is shifting and creating the energy around you. Everything. Everything. It's just right now, you're not aware you're doing it. but you're trying to find it, which is good because it makes you feel like, fuck, man, this world shit, let's go into that. But that's not why you came here. You came here to forget and to enjoy and to help those who are not enjoying themselves find a way to fucking enjoy themselves and let go of that shit. Because ultimately, none of this matters. But at the same time, it fucking does at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if I want to.
100% no. That's the beauty of it. Like I love pushing the stretches of it because it's the same lesson that I get over and over and over and over again. But at the same time, every time I describe it a lot because like it's holding something and then letting something go, holding something and then letting something go. It's being able to be in the space where you can stand between two things and just be okay right there, recognizing that like this is where it is. I just have to be in a balanced state. And I have to acknowledge that I can't be in a balanced state, and I have to be in a balanced state, and I can't be in a balanced state. Things are always perpetually in motion and moving, and it's the awareness and the recognition of that process. And if I just lean in and recognize that there's going to be ebb and flow, not because I've done something wrong or because I'm slipping up, but because that's the nature of the existence and the experience where it has to flow. And you pretend that you're controlling it when you think that you're not in flow or you're going to resist something. But that's just you literally, like, again, you can't deny that it's moving anyways. It's the illusion that you're holding on to something because it's not going to go away, or the illusion that you're pushing something away. You can't push away something that is you. It's just all of this pretend illusion. And I love the way, like, it's quite literally, it's just seeing duality reflected over and over and over and over and over again. The hemispheres of our brain, the parts of our heart, the head to the heart, the left to the right, the eyes, right? All of it just reflecting back two things. Mm-hmm.
Separated, fucking two tits.
Right? It's just
you know what I'm saying? It's in everything. Oh, it absolutely is. It's crazy.
It's the mirror constantly showing itself. And I love that we get the opportunity to see it with each other, right? Like, that's why I think you're so, like, I love when I first saw your stuff and I was coming into your rooms, it's just because you were reflecting a bunch of stuff back to me. And it's like, oh, I really like what this guy's reflecting because he's reflecting stuff that I think, that I see, that I recognize on the same wavelength, on the same place. That's why we gravitate to the people that we gravitate to, because they're reflecting us back to us. Correct. And I think it's freaking awesome.
That's why I say on my lives all the time. And when people say really good things about me, I say, listen, you know, remember, that's you. You're reflecting yourself back. That kindness, that love that you operate from, that's who you truly are. So never fucking forget that. But equally, when some people are talking shit to me, I reflect it back. That's you, by the way. You know what I'm saying? That's not me. I know who I am. The only issue that what I tend to find people is people don't really know who they are. I know who I am because I know what I'm about. I've lived in life in darkness and I've lived life in light. You know what I'm saying? I know what I am. I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I'm willing to do. I know who I am. You know what I mean? Not from what I think that I am. I know what I am from a soul level. You know, so when people say things to me, it's like, motherfucker, that ain't me. That's you. Do you know what I'm saying? Because whatever I'm doing right now, whatever you're disliking about yourself, whatever you can't accept, that is your issue right now. You know what I mean? But that's what a role of a teacher is.
It's the stuff that you're going to see reflected too. All this stuff that pisses you off, all the stuff that triggers you and activates you, those are the things that you're not okay with about yourself. Those are the things that are pointing at your shadows. That's why the activation occurs, because it's saying, hey, there's a problem here with the system. You need to look at this thing. You've got to address it, and it's going to constantly show up in your space and be reflected for you. And that's the gift. Like when I really let go of like thinking that I was not necessarily separate from people, but recognizing, oh, I'm not right. You're not right. We're both wrong and we're both right. We're both wrong and we're both right. And then just seeing what they were reflecting inside of me. So now it's like, I can see when people reflect light inside of me. I can see when people, like I talk about it, oftentimes I'll speak about it from the lens of like shadow and shadow work, but there's also a golden shadow. You'll see parts of yourself reflected in other people that you might not actually be able to see yet in yourself. So the people that you feel inspired by, the people that light you up, the people that you're like, man, I really like this person because of this, this, and this. that's golden shadow stuff being reflected in you as well, just as much as you'll see things in people that you don't like. When your judgments turn on and you start picking people apart and seeing the things that you don't like about them, that's just shadow. That's just the parts of you that you need to see reflected so that you can heal them and look within. And that's the beautiful dynamic that takes place. So I love being able to see as much as I can see, meaning I want to connect with as many people as I can connect. And for a really long time, my mission in life has been, I want to be the biggest mirror that I can be. I want to hold up as big of a mirror as I possibly can so that as many people as are out there can see themselves reflected in this mirror that I call myself. Here's Blue Flower, the mirror, and I hope that you can see some of yourself in it. So what that means is that I've had to look at all of my parts. I've had to sit with as much pain and hate and ugliness and just the worst parts of me intimately so that I can love them and integrate them and be able to place them up into this mirror so that now somebody that has that same part can see themselves reflected back. And I've noticed that a lot of the people that come into this room and a lot of the people that I work with and do readings with and things like that, we have had similar traumas and experiences. And I think it's because I've been able to do that integration process and like throw that sticker up on the mirror now. Here's all my bumper stickers of my life in an essence, right? So that you can see yourself reflected in, oh, I've been there, I recognize that, I recognize this, all on that subconscious frequency and level. And then I just do my best to kind of hold that space. It's just like, here's the mirror, and I'm only doing it so that you can feel not alone. I think it's all about validation. We have to be validated and seen in our pain and in our suffering before we can honestly move out of it. And that's kind of the big first step, is you have to acknowledge these parts inside of you. Otherwise, they're just going to keep fucking your life up.
Yep. That's literally what I keep saying on my life. Like, people use spirituality to try and bypass that. Mm-hmm. And it's like an elastic band. Like,
I did for a long time.
Oh, it's so easy to do, though. It's so easy to do. The thing is, like, I'm blessed in many different ways that I'm always open to being wrong, and I'm always open to failing, because I know in failure there's growth. I don't fear those things. I don't fear the darkness. I don't fear going through the hardships. I've lived my life, suffering. So for me to suffer more doesn't really make that much of a fucking difference, to be completely honest. It really doesn't. So I've been lucky that when I go on live, and I have done I think it's like, Christ, at this point now, it's not coming off 3.5 years. Fucking long time. Well, technically, if you take the time I disappeared, probably wouldn't even stretch to probably about 1.5 years, 3/4. I'm not gonna lie, I fucked off. People were getting on my nerves. I had my own shit to fucking deal with. But every time I came on live, I noticed that people were reflecting back my own shit. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I wonder if anyone else experiences this, because I've found that somewhat creepy. I don't know whether you have. I've been testing a little theory of mine, and I figured out something. I talk shit to myself on purpose, something I say I'm insecure about in my mind, and I feel it. People randomly come in the comments and say exactly what my fucking fear was, and I was like, these motherfuckers are picking up my signal.
Dude, it's telepathy, man. It's collective consciousness.
But I think it's something else, Blue.
Yeah.
Because duality does exist there. I think something's fucking with the dark. Now, I call it the demiurge. It's not the devil. The devil is the devil, it's us. But there is something very smart fucking with people to try and stop them. I don't know what it is, but it's very fucking smart. It's like, we can't say as an example, we're not angels. Yeah. We're not angels. You could say they're reflections of us. Mm-hmm. You could, because everything's a reflection of everything. But then so would the demiurge. But as I currently understand, I am not God, and I am not an angelic being. That I'm currently fucking aware of. I know we're all God, everyone says that, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whatever it is that is watching over us and helping us to be the best version of ourselves, then there is something on the opposite end. I don't know what this is, but I've spoken to it. It's the fucking weirdest thing. And I watch it jump in and out of people. There is something messing with this place. And everyone who's been receiving the signal has heard the exact same thing. This was not the way it was meant to be. something is wrong. Somebody's messing with the system, and they have been for a long time, stopping souls from evolving. That fucking thing has access to the dark. It knows every dark thought, every dark feeling, and knows exactly how to go against you. That's the reason why it literally pops up. I see it. I've been playing chess with it. It's been doing it. I'm like, the fuck? In the maddest fucking ways. In fact, if you don't believe me, people, do it yourself. Say something in your brain. If you do social media like me and Blue do, watch how motherfuckers, even in your life, will start to come up and go, you put on a bit of weight. I've never spoken like that before. Because remember, we're downloading consciousness and we're uploading at the same time. So whatever, the dark things, so the dark space and the light space, is the collective consciousness of both really negative shit that you do, causes pain and suffering and fear, and really good stuff, which is love, happiness. It's basically just fucking love and hate, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's basically what it is. But it's the collective consciousness. So all actions that are done go into these pools. You can connect to them. So as a true healer, that's the reason why you have to go through darkness. So you can sit in the darkness and pull information from the darkness to understand them. Pull information from the light to understand them. That's why a true being of God has to be able to hold both in one place. So you have access to the light and the dark at all times. But there's something playing with the darkness. It's found a way to manipulate it. I don't know what it is. I don't want to make it a function.
I feel like, because I've had so many experiences, Marcus, where I've connected to all sorts of different things that have all sorts of different energy attached to it and all sorts of different ideas that I've had around it my whole entire life in a lot of different ways. And I've been into some really dark spaces, both within my own head and mind and experience, as well as lived experiences. And I've seen some things. And I mean, like all the ways that we could articulate and talk about and describe evil and darkness, I feel like I have sat with it and confronted it, and I'm intimately acquainted with it. And from my experience into love and into the other side of things and the recognition, for me, I boil everything down. Again, I'm always oversimplifying things for my 4-year-old, and I see it as fear and love. And if I'm in fear at any given point, it's the illusion that I'm not in love, because love is all that exists. So every time I find myself again down some rabbit hole, some thought process, some neural pathway, some memory, some experience, some new thing, some aha moment, something that tells me I think I've figured this thing out finally. And if there's an element of fear attached to it, I recognize that it's fear and I turn it into love, because that's all that exists in my reality and what I'm creating. And I get, like, sometimes I have fun with fear and I'll play with it, but the times that it catches me the most, if I'm honest, is when I find that I'm also back to what we were talking about with my nervous system being dysregulated and having not my basic needs met. Like when I'm tired and cranky and I need a snack or I need a nap or I'm just thirsty, I will find myself navigating towards fear so much more regularly than when I'm regulated and in that calm state. And any other time, for me, from a spiritual perspective, but also from a quite literal, real reality, this is what I believe. It's just all love, and anything else is an illusion. It's just fear. So I'm constantly finding fear and turning it into love, looking for ways that I'm afraid and saying, I love you, looking for different things that make me feel like I'm need to worry or fear about something. And then I say, nope, there's another one. I love you. I love you. I love you. Constantly just turning it into love. And it could be I've got my head buried in the sand and I don't know what's coming down the pike and all sorts of different things. Or it could be I'm creating love consistently in my reality over and over and over and over again, because I think that that's all that exists anyways. I don't know at the end of the day, but I choose love when in doubt.
See, the thing is, I don't sit here and disagree with you. I think if you have a choice, the way I see it is that if we have love and hate and we put peace in the middle, so mind, body and soul, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, peace is the ultimate state. That is the closest of what God is, because it is neither light or dark. It's the point between, the bridge between the both of them. So I think that you have a choice to pick whether you want to go into fear or love. But I can tell you this, brother, if it swings to the left, it will swing equal to the right. If you're in a consistent state of love and you're going out of your natural state, it's not natural, but you're having to do it purposefully, you will naturally, by fear, bring more hate in, equal and opposite. I found the perfect state to be in is in neither. When I do my lives and when I talk to people, when I'm doing one-to-ones, I'm neither in love and I'm neither in fear. I'm actually in the place of neutrality. It's honestly, it doesn't make a difference to me. That's the true power, because you're neither swinging to the left, then going to the right, going from fear to love to fear. One, 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 one. That's the dance. You don't have to play the dance. It's actually peace. It's accepting, if that's what you feel as fear, no problem, feel as love. It's not even engaging with it. Okay, no worries. That's what I found is the best way of doing it. But if you want to use love, of course, if you want to go into that pure loving state, but do not be surprised if you go to the pure loving state, you are going to feel the equal and opposite at some point. This is just the nature of the beast. It really is. It's impossible to stay in that, and that's the bullshit we've been told.
Yeah,
you can't stay in love all the time. It's not possible, and it's cruel as well, because you're consistently pulling yourself energetically. You know what I mean? If you go to love all the time, you're going to feel the fucking opposite. It's going to keep coming. It's just the way that it goes. You know what I mean? So I don't aim for that. What I say to people is, when you find authenticity, brother, you can respond precisely how you feel at that moment, but not hold on to it. If I want to turn around to somebody and they're being rude to me, and I go, listen, shut the fuck up. Who are you talking to? Do you know what I mean? They fucking shut their mouth. Sure, afterwards, I don't care. Like, do you want a kiss? Do you want a cuddle? Do you want a beer? There's nothing to me. Do you know what I'm saying? But if I feel you're disrespecting me at that time, I will defend myself. But don't think for 1 second I'm going to take it personally. I'm just letting you fucking know where the boundaries are. You know what I mean? But if you're always in love, it's okay. I love you, man. I love you. Love you. It comes across fucking condescending. Do you know what I mean? It don't fucking work. Like, fuck you, bro. You might bloody mean it, man. But they're like, fuck you. Because it's not natural. It's not normal to be like that.
Yeah.
When you actually, the more neutral you are, the better it is for you. Because if I can put it like this, if your energy is closed on hate, then it is completely open on love. So you're not going to receive anything with hate, but you're going to be a complete fucking vortex in love. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you can do that. And as you know, it's like, I imagine like going to your partner. I'm in neutrality right now. There's no love for you, mate. Do you know what I mean? So of course, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are times to love and to be in that. And there are times where if it's not necessary, pull yourself back to the center as much as possible. Because if not, you're going to fly up and come right back down again. As above, so below, as within, as without. What swings to the left is equal to the right. And I've seen it, because that's the construct of the empath, brother, and the narcissist. As we said before, nothing stays in its solid state, not even the atom. Not even the atom. So in this sense, these AirPods, you would assume these AirPods are in my hand. I'm holding them. But as we already established, they don't have any weight. So what's actually happening? Well, the reality is the atoms are vibrating next to each other, and they create something called molecules. Molecules that vibrate together create matter. Matter that is next to each other collapses and shows us what's in front of us. So when you look at this, that means I'm not holding this. It's the same as holding two magnets and pushing them together and having that force. I've never held this. I'm not even wearing these clothes. They're literally just resting above the atoms in my body. Same with the fucking seat I'm on. And technically speaking, I am suspended in space as a single point of consciousness. Technically speaking. Do you know what I'm saying? That's
the spot that I'm always going to, Marcus, is I love dancing back and forth between matrix and source. Matrix and source. And that's the fun for me, is it's like, technically speaking, people come in here all the time and ask questions. And I'm like, okay, first off, let's look at it from one perspective. The bigger overarching perspective that I look at all things from is I'm just creating everything. So you ask yourself, like, will this thing happen? Or do you think this? Or, you know, all of these questions that we get asked all the time. And it's like, well, what are you interested in creating is really the question that you should be asking. And so I think about that all the time, where, again, the duality is massively important, but also recognizing that there's something else, and then also recognizing that there's duality, and then also recognizing that there's something else, being in those two places at the same time. And so I'm constantly trying to acknowledge both existence while I'm being present in both spaces, one foot in each, and moving from that place in the middle, recognizing that that's the dance here. If I'm doing the dance, like I showed up to do this dance, and this dance is all about being in the middle of two things and just holding that space, sitting in that space, acknowledging that space, recognizing that pattern over and over and over again. And because it is a binary, and because there is duality, there is something else. And the big thing, I think, that all the things we're talking about, the reflection of this as above, so below, over and over and over and over again, the really, really interesting part of it for me is it's like, why would we create something like this if what we were coming from was so perfect? So it's easy to think about it through the lens of like heaven. If heaven is so good, why the fuck are we here? Why would we not be there? Right? There's this illusion that it's some sort of like separation between the two. And that's the part that I think is really, really interesting, is we need that built into it, because in some way that's the push, that's the force, that's the thing to get us up and going towards something else. That's the pull part of what you're describing, the push-pull part, when two things try to come together, and the force that meets in the middle. It's just that we're creating, that force in the middle right there, by separating from ourselves so that we can hold it. And I just want to be in that space as much as I can so that I can feel that vibrationally within my body and be there, recognizing that that's the dance. Like, that's the point of this game. The point of this game is to recognize that it's a game, and then to be in it and out of it at the same time. And then what happens after this game, your guess is as good as mine. But this is the game. This is the point. This is the space, is to recognize that we are all singular, all the same, all one consciousness. Having separate experiences is the illusion part of it. And here's physical reality. Here's the stuff that I need to be connected to. Here's the point of the dance, is to be in the avatar and doing the dancing and doing the feeling and being connected.
Completely agree. Yeah. I just like to just juxtapose a different way of looking at things. I think, as you say, to be hyper-conscious of both things, to be in and out of both spaces, to make sure that you're making the right decisions, which I'm sure you can see the direction I'm going in. That's a construct of ego. But when you look at it like this, brother, if you just listen to it and do things that make you feel good, you can simplify your experience really fucking fast. I am not a person who sits there, brother, and thinks about this. In fact, I couldn't give a fuck about spirituality. I don't care. Like, I'm not a spirituality man. How can I be something that I already fucking am? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the spirit, in reality, I don't give a fuck. I don't look into any of this stuff. I'm more interested, how do we enjoy this game? How do we have a good experience? And how do we not get caught up in the source of it all? You know what I mean? The way I think it's simplified is this: do things that make you feel good and that challenge you. So ask yourself the question, what the fuck do you want to experience today? What do you want to experience? Do you want to go for a coffee? Well, tell me what. Don't sit there and go, what's my fucking life purpose? Why don't you actually do something that makes you feel good? Because there is no life purpose. And if there is one and you chose one, it will find you. Don't you fucking worry about that. It will find you good and ready. So there's no point worrying about it. It's better to let go of trying to control the experience and just let the fucking thing flow. What do I want to do today, man? Sometimes I get up and I think, oh, I've got to do this, and my mind's thinking, I'll go, fuck off, mate. I want to do what I want to do today. So what do I want to experience? I want to go out to the beach, put my feet in the water. No fucking worries, man. Go and do that. What do I want to do afterwards? I try to live my life the same way a child would, in awe, going into like a fairyland, you know what I'm saying, or going out with your mates as a kid. What do I want to do, man? Because this is the bullshit that's been taken away from us. We're not being our true selves because we think we have to be something else. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Ever since I've started living my life that way, that's when life gets really good. I literally just do that every single day. What do I want to do today? I don't know. Let's fucking see what happens when I get to that spot. And then I check in Oh, this is what I want to do today. This is what I want to do today. This is what I want to do today. What about that? I don't know. That's that. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about what I want to do today, right now, in this moment. And it comes down to like that really fine-tuned nervous system and connected to my emotions and connected to my body. And if for whatever reason it feels like I don't want to get out of bed today, I don't sit and question it. I don't sit and wonder why. I don't try to like understand it. I just go, oh, that must be what I want to do today. So that's what I'm doing. And I just live that way. And it's amazing. And the duality part of it for me is recognizing that sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I can be in that state and then sometimes I'm not. But the more I go into that state and use that as like my north point, right? That's the thing that I'm going towards, is what do I want to do? What do I feel like lights me up? What makes me feel good? What is my intuition pulling me towards? That's all I got to trust. That's all I have to do. My sole purpose in life is to go, hey, turn this thing on, like tap the mic. Is this thing on? Are you ready? Tell me where we're going. Point me in the direction, boss. I'm ready to go. I just got to listen to this thing and let it guide me to whatever it wants, because it's taken me to unconditional love no matter what.
Absolutely. And I think there should be a point made between what you want to do and what you need to do. Like, very rarely, this is what I say as a principle, that if you find one thing you need to do, then find three things you want to do, because that's going to balance out the bullshit of doing the thing you need to do. Right. The things you have to do in this life, that is just your soul. It's who you are. It's fundamental. You see somebody walking down the street, like a homeless person. Now, you might not want to do it, and you go, oh, fucking hell, I can't be asked. But your heart's like, no, go on, speak to him. You've got to speak to him. You go over to him, you're like, that was one of the most amazing conversations. And then it ends up helping him, giving love to him. You were the channel of love. God came through, blasted this motherfucker in the face with love. There are things you need to do. Like, I don't always want to go live, Blue. I don't. Sometimes I'd rather shove my dick in a blender. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
More than happy to do that in rather than going fucking live. But I do it because that's what I need to do. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I need to do it. People need me to be there to help them in a time that they're going. Because I don't know who's going to be on that live. The amount of lives that I get that people have messaged me saying I've saved a life, and it's fucking saved a life, mate. They saved themselves. But you understand what I'm saying? I provide the space for love and the ability to shift their perspective. So even if I don't want to do it, because, mate, I've got many other things I want to do, I do it because it's the right thing to do and it's what serves my soul. Anything I do before then, mate, I do whatever I want to do, bro. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation, go for a walk. I don't fucking know. Whatever I fancy, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's my time. But the moment it comes on to do live, I'm holding that space. That's what I'm there for. Same doing videos, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, dude.
You only have one with a blender. I mean, it'd be one to remember, though, wouldn't it? So you'll never forget about that one. You know what I mean? Just think of the nutrients. That's all I'm saying. You know, don't waste it. So, you know, it's beautiful once you understand the meaning of life, which basically means it's whatever you mean it to be.
Right.
There is no such thing as fate. Fate doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Carl Jung even spoke about this. I figured this out before you even know Carl Jung spoke about it. Like, it's just the deeper subconscious playing out, and in your unconscious moments. That's it. And go, oh my god, that's fate. It's not fate. Do you know what I mean? It's an unconscious thing that was playing out. When you recognise there is the conscious, subconscious, the light and the dark, the fucking negative space and the positive space, this is what is happening. The idea is, just so people understand this clearer, to stay as conscious as possible and stop yourself from going unconscious. Because if you go unconscious, you'll do things that you won't recognise you're doing and then blame other people. I see it all the time. People go, why are people so nasty to me and mean to me? And then I fucking talk to them and I'm like, there's been about 6 times you've been passive-aggressive to me. And I'm your therapist. So I'm like, I fucking wonder why.
all those people that are like, man, everywhere I go, everybody's such an asshole everywhere I go. And I'm like, and then you go out with these people and they're like incredible assholes to everybody that they meet. And I'm like, it's really strange that you keep meeting all of these people everywhere you go. Seriously, it's everywhere. I can't believe it's everywhere. Wow. I wonder what the common denominator is.
No.
Every single place you go, there's an asshole. That's crazy.
I mean, quite literally, but no. in this respect, it is actually the case, you know. So what a lot of people don't recognise, and I did the same thing. I was brought up around violence. I was brought up around like intense like negativity. You know what I'm saying? And like combativeness. So I'm used to aggression. I'm used to things like that. That's just something I'm used to. And when you're a child, your way of defending yourself is to be offensive. The best way to have defense is to be offensive. So I didn't recognise that I started. I was the one creating the issues. So I'd say something, they'd go, have a response. And I'm like, the fuck are they acting like that for? They say something rude to me because I've been rude to them, not realising I was doing it. And I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to? Okay, then motherfucker, you want to go? No problem. Because that's in me anyway, do you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, no fucking problem. Before you know it, we're having a fucking argument, and I'm literally just like, you're fucking having it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it turns out that when you actually deconstruct it all, everyone fucking around me had a problem with me. And I thought everyone else was the problem. And then I realised I was attacking them subconsciously, seeing their reaction consciously, and assuming they were attacking me. And then when I didn't do that, and then when I purposely went and spoke to them with love, changed. My relationships have gone a million times better. I don't have any issues with anyone anymore. It was all me. The wounded ego, absolutely, yeah. Child, innit, mate? Do you know what I'm saying? When you're abused as a child, do you know what I mean? You can't come to me and say your fucking brain's healthy. Like, you're living out that pattern.
Yeah, I think that's, you talked earlier about the ego, and to me, that's just the inner child. And it's not even the wounded inner child. It's just the inner child. By nature, the inner child is a wounded inner child. Like, it's just the nature of the inner child. It's the forgotten part. It's the left behind part. It's the part that it is the shadow part of us, like the subconscious part. There was a story that came up when you were talking earlier about like seeing, the homeless person on the street, and then you've got that gut reaction to them, and then turns out if you engage and interact with them. I was driving, and I was pulling into this parking lot, and the guy walks across the street, and I knew that he was like flagging me down, wanting my attention. And I was like, oh my gosh, here, I don't have any money or anything. I usually have like water with me or something so that I can like offer water and stuff like that. But instead of like ignoring him and driving by, I just like stopped and interacted with him and had this conversation with him. And this was like during a really not intense time for my life, but it was like during a time period in my life where I was doing this thing where I was going towards fear and turning it into love. And so I just went at this guy with love and just saw him. And he was schizophrenic, and I could see that he was navigating that journey and the experience of what he was experiencing there and trying to do everything. But there was also like this moment where he just had that spot where you could tell that he felt seen. And then he just immediately like started pouring back love. He was like, love you, brother. Like as we were pulling away, just dumping all of this love out. And it's just like small little examples of that and all of those things. But it's important.
Absolutely, yeah. And just to go back to the point of, the wounded ego. Yes, I mean, an over-exaggerated. The reaction is normal, but when it's overly emotional, that's a signal to trauma and inflammation in the brain. But it is a normal reaction. I mean, by the very nature, as human beings, we are by the definition competitive, and always live on the point of comparison, because the idea is obviously we want to survive. So if you're doing better than me, then clearly you're going to survive longer than me. That's why it works so well. Do you know what I mean? And the competitiveness is that, if one of us is going to live longer, it's fucking me, innit? Do you know what I mean? The body wants to live. Do you know what I'm saying? So in that very nature, but this is what I say. Now, would we say, from a human perspective, Blue, I'm going to give you a few characteristics, and everyone else can join if you want to. Do you think this makes somebody a horrific human? Somebody who takes people out, yeah, steals from them, attacks children and kills children, yeah, that's bad, isn't it? What about SA people? Mm-hmm. That would make a monster, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. That'd make a monster. Imagine if a man walked into a woman's house who was dating and went and murdered children. That'd make him a monster, wouldn't it? That's a horrific thing to do. Or gang SA, that's a horrific thing to do. Yeah, it's never considered bad when animals do it. People like to say it's the devil and this kind of shit. No, it's your human nature. By definition, that is what, if you are taken too far away from your genetics and you're pulled massively into fight or flight, you're going to be more like that. It's the animal parts of yourself that's being suppressed. You're in the body of the devil. You're in the body of the animal. And we spoke before about fight or flight. The reason when people go, oh God, fucking hell, I'm back. People say they're possessed and their eyes go black. That's what's happening. Do you know what black eyes are? A lot of people don't know this. You know when the pupils go really big? Do you know what that is, anyone? That's fucking fight or flight, mate. That's fear. So when you look at people and their eyes go black and they go, they're possessed, yeah, you are right. It's not some spiritual, there isn't a fucking demon that jumped in. It's actually the person, the higher sense of consciousness exiting. It's been shut out. This fucking thing has taken over, which goes back to what I originally said. If you do not feed the beast inside yourself, if you do not respect the beast inside yourself, it will eject you and it will take over. And there's nothing you can fucking do.
It's the whole adage, right? Which one are you feeding? Right?
I think both.
Exactly.
As you said,
both need to eat.
You're tired, man.
The way that I see it, like my current working model when it comes to shadow right now is every time I have recognition of something that I'm doing that comes from one of those wounded spots in one of those old programs, I've like skipped all of the work of trying to like think about it and integrate it and sit with it. I just look at it as the awareness of, oh, there's a wounded part of me and I'm just sweeping it and coming in with love, scooping up all of my parts and saying everybody's accepted, everybody's okay, no matter what happened to you, no matter what you think, no matter what you feel, no matter what you've done, no matter what you believe about yourself, it doesn't matter. You're unconditionally loved. Come on, let's go. We're going on this ride where everything's awesome and amazing and we're creating our reality. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Just constantly loving myself no matter what bubbles to the surface. And then doing the best that I can to see that reflected externally. So no matter who's bubbling to the surface in front of me, it might not mean that I'm like actively engaging with that person. It might not mean that I want that person in my life. It might not mean that that person, you know, they get to do them over on their reality side of things, but I also still see that person as much as I possibly can from that same perspective of love. Come on, everybody's welcome. All of us are coming on this, right? There's no parts left behind, meaning nobody's left behind when it comes to unconditional love. I try to do that internally with myself, all those voices and the ego and the different wounded parts that come up. And then again, it's like doing my best to see it in everybody that I meet in every way that it's reflected, because it's always going to be a part of me. I cannot not see somebody else or see something else and not see a part of myself in it. And if I'm like, if I don't think that's the case, then I'm just lying to myself, because you're always going to have something reflected back to you. Even in all of the shit that you just got done describing, even all of those really, really dark things that exist and take place in this world and on this planet, those are really, really terrible things that exist. But there's a part of you inside of those terrible things that you have to acknowledge and see. And otherwise pushing it away and pretending like it doesn't exist and just bastardizing it in a sense and saying that all of those things are evil and those people are evil and blah, 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 so on and so forth. More and more distance. It's just the illusion. You have to acknowledge it. You don't have to accept it, meaning welcoming it in, but you do have to love it. And if you don't, you're going to be in pain.
Yeah, I mean, to assume that, you know, as an example, you know, taking somebody out is a bad thing, well, it's down to a matter of perception, isn't it? Everyone's capable of doing it. You know what I mean? It isn't bad. It's the intention behind things that makes things bad, realistically. Do you know what I mean? Of course, some things. You know what I mean?
Perception, right? Like your perception, like we kill things all the time, but from our perception, it's not a big deal. Right?
Yeah.
All those arguments that get spun around in the ways, you know, whether it's the food that we consume or the things that we're doing to this planet or all these different things that take place. And yet from our perception, it's not a big deal. But I'm sure if we asked it from somebody else's perception or from the thing's perception, like let's have some conversations with some, you know, plants, animals, and other things that exist on this planet, and they might have a different perspective of what's good and what's not good, or they might not. Who knows? That's the big thing, is you never frickin' know, so you might as well take into consideration that you don't know and come with love first and foremost.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That's what the unconditional love part is. I think one of the key things that I learned to do is to separate the person, so the soul, from their actions.
Yeah.
If you can do that, then ultimately you'll find that you can love everybody no matter what they do. but you won't like their actions, and that's okay because they don't resonate with you, and that's it. It's neither good nor bad. It's just not an experience that you wish to have. Therefore, it does not resonate. You know what I'm saying? We get too much into the weeds of things sometimes, mate, with this kind of stuff, like depression and anxiety. It's a chemical imbalance. If you want to be real, depression and anxiety is a chemical imbalance. There's an imbalance between serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline or norepinephrine. That's anxiety. There you go. You're welcome. It's you that has no control over your life, that wants to seek control over things. You can only be anxious of things that you fear. There you go. Depression. What's depression? It's a low amount of serotonin. Why? Because you're doing negative things that don't serve you. If you're depressed, don't eat properly, don't exercise, you don't breathe, you don't do things that make you happy. So therefore, it perpetuates more depression. So therefore, you're stuck in the past because you realistically are not moving. So when you look at it, people like to say that there's some spiritual aspect to things like that. You're the spirit, just so we get this fucking clear, you're the spirit observing the experience. You are not the experience and you're not the emotions. You're the observation of those things. So you can't say that these are a spiritual thing. They're not. These are a catalyst, a cause and causality of an experience you're actually having. You know what I mean? And that's it. It's just chemicals. It's biochemicals mixing with neurochemicals that's creating your experience. It all goes through your central nervous system. All of it. But how you perceive it and what you do and listening to yourself. Like you could be a spiritual person and, you say you've got anxiety, it's my soul or whatever the fuck people say, because they do say that. But yet, you don't ground. You don't breathe properly. You don't listen to your intuition. You don't fucking eat good food. You don't drink enough water. So what you're talking about is spiritual. Because that, if I'm not mistaken, those are elements of a three-dimensional living. Not your soul. What the fuck's going on about? What are you on about? Like, you're not doing things in the physical to change that reaction inside yourself. So, how is it spiritual then? It doesn't make any sense. Because everyone I've ever worked with who's had anxiety and depression, I've worked with them and it's gone. Shock. Shock, innit? And if it does appear, guess what? They know how to regulate it and it goes, shock. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I think with spirituality is what I see. It's become like a cult, the same way religion has. It has, you're not spiritual if you're like this, you're not spiritual if you're like that. No, you have to think of it like this, think of things like that. Listen, pretty much no one in this space knows what they're talking about. They just talk. We go to take shit everyone else has said. I don't listen to fucking no one but myself. I meditate and pour the information through myself and have the lived in experience. That's why people listen to me, because they know what I'm saying is the truth. This is not coming through someone else's mouth. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say things. I'm like, you know what I mean? Listen, let's get it fucking real. Let's not switch the two together and make sure. That's actually what is referred to as an apophenia fallacy. It's where you make connections that seem to look like they're connected, but they're not connected. It happens all the time. It's one of the human pitfalls of perception.
I love this side of the conversation, Marcus, because for me, this side of the conversation is like the materialist and the scientific and the physical reality side of things that's so massive to understand. And like when I really started breaking down and understanding all the neurochemicals and the way that I was chasing and creating experiences simply so that I could get the dopamine hit and I could get all the different things that were happening neurochemically, then it made perfect sense why, here's a child program from childhood to seek this out. And if he doesn't have this just by his natural surroundings, which most of the time he did, then he'll create it so that he can continually get it. That was massive for me to understand. And over the course of my life, I've had to like go through different phases where it's like I understand different parts of myself, but different parts of the human experience. And I think that there's a real valid part of we get into anxiety and depression and all of these other emotional states because it's a separation from love, because it's this idea that we're separate, because there's something wrong with us, because we're bad, because we're alone, because the people that we love don't love us. All of these things will create this illusion inside of us and create these emotions inside of us. And there's 100% chemical reactions and all sorts of different things that are taking place inside of the body because of these experiences that we're having externally, as well as the ones that we're creating based upon all of these programs. But I think it's so massively important to acknowledge all the different components of it. And then there's this other, like you talk about spirituality and the way that people misunderstand it and use it. And the only reason I feel like I have an understanding of that at this point is because I very much was in that space for a very long time. I was very much in the space of solving all of my problems with this massive oversimplification of just love. And I'm still in that space of recognizing that it's just love for me, but I was so ungrounded from this other part of the experience that left me still repeating loops and patterns. And it wasn't until I had the understanding of all of these different aspects of myself and the experience of being human was it able for me to really kind of not just shift and change, but now I'm at this spot where I've not skipped anything. I don't feel like I've skipped anything. I feel like I've gone through some levels 14 times, for hell's sakes, but I'm at a spot with it where I'm no longer interested in what's happening to me neurochemically inside of my body, because I don't believe that that is really in existence. I believe I'm only perceiving that through the perception of the experience that I'm creating based off of all of this knowledge that I have. So I'm less concerned about what's happening internally and always going towards just what feels good and what I want, because that's what I want to continually create. So it's literally this practice of, like, I don't even think that my internal body exists up until the point that my body is cut and open, and now that part of me would be rendered. So the heartbeat that I feel in my chest isn't real, meaning there's not a heart beating in my chest. It's the perceived experience of sound and movement and vibration that I'm projecting and creating, telling myself that this thing is a thing. And I also have to acknowledge that this thing is a thing. It's, again, always the duality part of it. But I love thinking about all of those different things, because if I don't have the understanding of something, then is my physical body still going to experience it? So it's like the placebo effect. We know that works, right? So it makes sense to me, for example, like if, and this is just thought experiments that I go down sometimes in a way to kind of like deepen my understanding of these things, as well as continually feel like I'm pushing myself into the expansiveness of what my consciousness has the capacity to hold. And it's like, if I don't present information to somebody or to that avatar, will their body still experience it? So sugar we know is bad for us because we all have a program around sugar being bad for us. And I'm not talking about healthy, raw cane. This isn't a conversation about which form of sugar is healthy. I'm talking about take high fructose corn syrup and give it to somebody who doesn't know that it's high fructose corn syrup, but instead believes that it's the healthiest thing for them and it's what keeps them healthy. And I think the program around that substance is what will actually be operated off of, not the actual substance. It's the perception of what they've been told about the substance, because once again, we're just creating the reality. So here, drink this amber liquid, we'll call it drink amber. In reality, it's high fructose corn syrup, but they don't know that. They're going off of the program that they're installed with. So therefore, their body's going to be really healthy, or at least from their program and perception of what healthy is, again, right? What I think is healthy and what you think is healthy is important in the conversation as well. But like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm just like, okay, I'm very conscious now, not only about what I'm allowing myself to be programmed with, but also what I'm wanting to be programmed with. So I get very conscious about the information and data that I get, that I receive or that I take in. When I'm consuming content and I'm on social and I'm scrolling, if something pops up that feels like it sparks a part of me that feels like it might go towards fear, I keep swiping, because I'm very cognitive about putting information into my system so that I'm constantly creating what I want. And I'm also very cognitive about how I think about what things really are. So like you talked earlier about electrolytes and water and salt. I completely believe that, and I do that. I've got salt. It cracked me up when you said it, because before I sit down, I dump my sea salt in my water, and then that's my water that I'm drinking. So I'm operating from that program. But what I'm saying is that the person who doesn't have the program around sea salt, and I think their experience is going to be one of whatever they choose. So their body won't react in the way that you think it would react, or the way that I would think it would react, because that's our program and our perception. So when I come from that spot, Marcus, then I'm just like, well, fuck it all. It's a matrix. We're making this shit up. I don't even have a heart or a brain. It's all projection. It's virtual reality. It's a video game. And then I got to drop back into like, okay, I need my electrolyte salt. I need some sunshine. I got to go put my feet in the grass, you know?
No, it's fascinating, but I want to just shift the perspective on one word you keep using. Use the word belief. You can't believe in what you know. Like, you don't believe your mum and dad are your mum and dad. You know they are. So when you know something, sit with the word I know. That the power behind that is tremendous. But you're also signaling there's no doubt. When you say I believe, there's a doubt. There's no doubt. You put salt in that fucking water, didn't you? Do you know what I mean? You know it works. The science on it, the literature on that, on the cells and everything, it's right there. It works. It's not a guess. It's an absolute fucking fact. You know what I mean? So when you know something and you fucking know it, some people say to me, do you believe in God? Do you believe in Jesus? And I say, no, I don't believe in them. I know them. I can't believe in what I know. Do you know what I mean? It's not a doubt in my mind. I've met them both. You know what I mean? So when you sit within that, that's when you're pulling your power back to yourself. Because if you say, as an example now, say, I believe electrolytes are good for me. So if you say that, I believe electrolytes are good for me, then they'll say, I know electrolytes are good for me, and feel the shift in your body.
Yeah, it's
for everyone who wants to try it. Right? Because you'll know straight away, it's a definite, it's not like it's floating around a bit, it's like I fucking know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people watch me in the way they do, because I speak with conviction, because I'm telling you the fucking truth. Like, it's a knowing. It's what I refer to as universal truth. Like, it's a knowing. We know this as souls. I'm not telling you something you don't already know. I'm not a fucking genius mastermind. You hear and you go, motherfucker, I've been thinking about that for years. Do you know what I mean?
It goes back to the thing where we're just having a conversation with ourselves, right? There's so many times where I'm just talking to myself, no matter how many people are in the room, I'm just sitting here. And it's so like this experience, not right now, the you and me talking, even though it's the same fucking thing, but like when I'm just on and I'm just the room and I'm doing my thing, it's the same thing. I'm just talking to myself, but I'm pretending that there's a version of me that's out there on their phone somewhere that's, you know, named Iyashi the White Wolf or Lucid Art Gallery, or do you know what I mean? It's still just me tuning in to listen to me talk about myself over and over and over again. There's a part of it, the singularity part of it, where it's just this super ultimate narcissist that's just like, let's talk about me. Hey, who's interested in listening to me talk? You? Me? All the same? Cool. Let's talk about
Maybe we're all narcissists. One big narcissistic fucking being. Do you know what I mean? That explains a lot, to be fair, in the world. So, you know what I mean? I think we figured it out.
Some Mad Hatter created this video game just to talk about themselves over and over and over again.
Honestly, at this point, it wouldn't shock me. I've seen crazy stuff, man. I think, like a lot of people who talk about this kind of stuff, they watch other people. That's how they learn. Mate, I can close my eyes and I go poof, off. Like, it happens every time. The veil for me is extremely thin. Like, I have to close my eyes and I get vision straight away. It fucking does my head in. So I see things, whether I want to or not. I just allow them to come for me. And I've seen the quantum space. I saw the light and dark space. I saw how it works. I literally fucking saw it. Literally, so I know what it is. So when I say these things, I'm not someone just saying it because I picked it up from someone else. I'm like, I literally fucking seen it. Do you know what I'm saying? I literally worked it out. Mel C, you're wrong, mate. So just because you can't or other people can't doesn't mean someone like me can't. I have perceived that. I understand how it fits as well. Hence why I teach it. So it is the light and dark space, 100%. But there is a quantum space. I actually went into my own version. So I was literally between the middle a lighter space and a dark space, and it was like film strips. In those film strips, there were individual versions of me, all having lives that would look like simultaneous, but ever so slightly different. It was fucking endless. And I was like, that's the first time I realised it was like, because I used to think, oh, it's very vivid. I used to think, oh, well, this is fate. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. And then I looked and I was like, I suddenly came back and realised, I don't have to do any of this shit. I choose to do it. This is my choice. I want to do this. From a soul level, from a deep down level, this is what I want to do. This is my choice. I could be anything and do anything. There are no limitations to who I am or what I want to achieve. But this is the life upon which I choose in this moment. And the power in knowing that shifted everything, because it's no longer a chore. It's, this is what I want, this is what I asked for, and this is what I will fucking achieve. You know what I mean? I recognised it was all me. It was only ever was me. As soon as I did that, I was like, holy fuck. Come back from America, mate. My fucking account blew up. It just, cause now I know, because I'm sending out signals. I'm telling people to come. They just don't think it. I'm manifesting it. You know what I mean? I sit there and I go, okay. I'm sending out a signal to anyone who needs it. And all these people come out of nowhere. They're all new people as well. I get literally, on average, around about 30 to 35,000 people on my live.
Yeah, dude, I know it's crazy.
It's not the same fucking views. So a lot of people have like that numbers, but it's the same people. Every fucking night. This month, mate, I've had nearly 500,000 people. So when you think about it,
man, like, what do you feel like you can contribute a lot of that to? I know that, like, I mean, I'm not interested in like I'm not talking about like the TikTok side of things and the social media side of things and all those kind of rabbit holes. Like, what are you contributing all of that to? You said mindset.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, I figured out, this is why I want to make a video and do it really well. I figured out how to control the universe. I figured it out. I actually know there's a method, there's an equation to actually figuring it out. I figured it out. And the moment I figured it out, it all shifted like that. And I've been playing with the universe as well. I've been doing things purposely and watching how everyone is literally reacting and responding to what I'm sending out to the universe. It's the fucking wildest thing ever. It's the wildest thing ever. So I'm going on and literally, I go into it, I think before I go, I meditate, and I send a signal and I visualize it. I'm telling you fucking keys here, people. So if you listen, you'll change your life. You know what I'm saying? And I see it as like a beam from my head, and it goes around a 360 radius, like a sonic wave. And I set the intention. I don't go, please. I'm like, no, angels, guides, this is what I'm telling you to do. Bring these people to me. Then I call upon God, the energy of God within me. I draw it into my body, into my heart. My whole heart starts to get bigger. And then I feel this ball of protection around me, this energy. And then when I go into it, now when you're there, you're now going to receive God's love through me. Direct connection. And I'm pulling those people to me. My intention is to wake them up by giving them love and giving them hope and showing them there's another way of doing things. So all these beings, all these ones are on the same wavelength that need that help. Ping, ping to them, get the phone out, a little intuition, pull the phone out, lift up. The intuition goes, 3, 4 ups, 3, 4 down, boom, I'm right there. There's something about you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you watch all the comments, there's something about you're fascinating, you're intriguing, you can't stop watching people. Watch me for fucking hours. That's because of the way it's designed. Through me, I'm holding the highest frequency you can hold, and I'm sitting with it, and my intention is to give it. I want to give it to you, because when I cut down all the money and everything else that you need, I just want to give you hope, for fuck's sakes. Yeah. So know that you're not stuck here. You are not lost. You can get out of this. No matter how bad it is, I'd had everything happen to me as a child. And as I got older, I got starved. It's horrible fucking shit, man. Horrible shit. I went to the darkest places and addiction. I'm telling you, you can get out of it. Through my experiences, I'm proving that. I shouldn't be here, man. I shouldn't be here. I was around gangs. I was around violence. I had horrific anger issues, serious brain damage from what happened to me as a kid. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got ADHD. When I got diagnosed, it was like 97% out of 100. It's fucking ridiculous. I shouldn't be here. So why am I here? Why am I cognizant? Why can I hold a conversation? And why is my brain not inflamed? It's because I fucking figured it out. And I just want to teach people so you don't have to go for the same thing as me. Because I suffered for well over 30 years because I could not figure out the pattern. And I'm not stupid. I've always been highly observant since I was a kid. The same way you, Blue, which is where I resonate. Sit there and work it all out. I pattern, you've seen, I don't know if you've seen me read, but that's pattern recognition, majority of it. My pattern recognition is really high, and I still fucking fucked it up. Because I couldn't figure out the pattern. You can't see it whilst you're in it. You know what I mean? So now that I'm out of it, and I see people in it, I'm like, come here.
Right.
Let me show you. And that's why the lives and the stuff that I've done, I've literally changed thousands and thousands and thousands. Fuck knows, millions at this point. Who knows? Who actually does know? Not that it really matters anyway, but just from shifting the perspective.
Well, I'm on the exact same frequency, brother. That's like the whole thing for me. I had this, I've had spiritual experience after spiritual experience on top of like life experience after life experience, all of which have been driving me in one way or another towards love. And it's towards love for myself. It's towards really caring for myself and loving myself. And then the greater, bigger scope of things, love. And the last massive spiritual experience that I had that really saved me and cracked me open to the spot of where I'm at today. Because a year ago today, my life is completely different than it is today, right? All of that to say what I'm constantly doing, my mission in life, my purpose, the reason I'm here, like I got very, very clear, was to just share unconditional love and help people on their path towards it. Like we're all connected to it. We all stem from it. We all need it. It's there. That's the direction. Go that way. So when I come in here and I try to do whatever it is that I'm doing here, it's like, oh, I'm just channeling unconditional love. And in order to receive it, you have to be here. You can't be here. You can't be in your head. You have to be in your heart. And all along the way, like I'm constantly joking with people that I'm like subliminally trying to program them like, hey, get out of your head and get into your heart. You have to breathe to come down into the body. But it's exactly everything that you just got done talking about. And it's so incredibly important and necessary. And it's like, I think the real big thing that I'm trying to do, even from like a deeper subconscious level, is just validate that pain that people are experiencing. And it's not validating their pain from like a like victimhood perspective. It's like seeing them in their pain so that they're not alone. And I think that's what I needed. I think that that's what we all need, is we need people to be able to sit with us in our darkest spots and in our darkest moments. And just that, they don't even have to do anything other than just be there with us in a loving, compassionate way. And you learn how to do that for yourself, and then life changes. And then just coming from that place of love, constantly sharing it, shooting it out, expressing it in every way, shape, and form in essence. And that's why I call it channeling. Like all the different verbs and the terms and the ways that we kind of like label everything that takes place on this platform, all of them don't really make sense to me because of the way that I see reality and existence and spirituality and consciousness and everything like that. And I'm like, it's just a channel of unconditional love. Well, is it this? Is it this? I don't know. You call it whatever you want. For me, it's a channel of unconditional love. I'm channeling in it because for me, what it feels like is I step into it. I step into the flow of what this thing is, and it's love, and then I just share what comes out with the people that are here. And it takes shape in these cards. It takes shape in all sorts of different ways. But for me, all I'm doing is tapping into love and sharing it. And I want people to be able to connect to it and feel it, and not just for the hope and the peace and the validation of being seen part of it. That's the really, really like, everybody needs somebody to show up in their pain and say, I see you. But at some point, you're the person that has to get up out of that fucking pain and move forward. And that's the thing, is all of these little things. I mean, tons of shit that you and I have talked about today are little simple things that if you just take the concept and break it down into what do I do every day in order to create my reality this way? Well, I need to learn about my nervous system. I need to connect to my physical body. I need to understand like your process of what you do before you get on the live of like dropping in and connecting and then channeling fucking love coming from your heart. I mean, that's it right there. That's the secret sauce. You want to know how to, like, not just be successful, imagine all your dreams coming true, life getting amazing, incredible, all of those things, and actually feeling peace inside, and actually like loving yourself, and actually being able to really help the people around you, rather than, because for a long time I was stuck in this, like, I have this wounded healer rescuer story program mentality, right? So I'm trying to save everybody. And I wasn't ever applying any of those things to myself. And I also recognized that there wasn't anybody that I could ever really save. It was all just imaginary pretend things that I was actually trying to save people from, because we can only ever really truly save ourselves. And so it's way less about trying to tell people what to do and more about just, here's unconditional love. I hope you can receive it. By the way, you got to open up your heart to get it. If you're in your head, you're going to miss it.
I completely agree. With you. Yeah. It's important to operate from the right space. I just think that if we talk about peace as the main fundamental thing that we spoke about, peace is found. Like when I channel and I pull the energy through me and I call upon my own father, which people, whatever you want to call it, it's my version of God, let's put it that way. The peace I feel is immense, but the peace also comes from the fact that I'm doing something which serves my highest good. So if you're always doing things that are serving your highest good, then the chances of you having an overactive mind or feeling like shit and not being in peace, having fear, drops dramatically. The moment I serve my ego more than my higher self, it pulls me right back into that. I feel it's a bit like a alarm system for me. I can't say for everyone, but for me, if I start feeling, I'm like, what have I done wrong? What do I need to do? You know what I mean? So I'm very conscious of it. No, it's interesting. It's interesting. There's a lot of different theories, different ways of looking at things. You know what I mean? I mean, someone said in the comments about eating meat. I mean, you put it this way. If you really have a problem with eating meat, which I was vegan for 4.5 years, then the only way, if you're doing it for the ethics, so plant-based is for the food, ethics is vegan. If you really want to truly be vegan, then why are you here? Because for you to be alive, something has to die. So that's not duality. That's you living in a fucking fairyland. That's not reality. Your body needs to eat certain things, and some people's bodies just work and respond differently to others. Some people can eat a vegan diet perfectly fine. I did it. I was losing my hair, had horrific mental health, massive nutrient deficiency. But that's just me. My missus, she could do it to a degree, but she had bad stomach issues. She just couldn't eat the fucking food. It was just, body wasn't responding. But we did it for 4.5 years. As for reaping karma, karma is a human concept. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist.
It's the good
by the nature,
again.
This is the stupidity of it. By the nature of you eating them and thinking that it's bad, therefore it is bad. That's quite literally what it is. You do it to yourself. There's only one rule, and that is do not fuck with other people's life paths. That's the only thing. When I spoke to God, that's the only rule there is. Other than that, it's down to a matter of perception. If you believe that, then you do it to yourself. That's what karma is. Karma is self-imposed subconscious actions playing out. Literally. Self-imposed. You do it to yourself.
I love that.
James, I'm not going to carry on talking to you because, so by the way, the guy there, he's a strange man. He's a very strange man. I know him a long time ago. He's not a good guy, to be completely honest. I don't have an issue with many people, but I got rid of him very, very quickly in my life.
He's a very James. I haven't even been paying attention to the chat. I get so involved in these conversations.
He's not a good guy. He's narcissistic. But yeah, he hides behind the premise that he's a fucking helper or a healer. He's none of those things. So, don't make your own judgment, people, before. But I blocked him, and for some reason he's been able to fucking see me on air. So he's not a good guy. He really isn't.
Well, thanks for the heads up again. I haven't even been really paying attention to the.
You got to be careful, people, in man, because he literally. So when I first got into this, luckily I'm pretty clued on, but he was telling me that he was fucking Jesus, or I was Jesus, and so I was his son. I was like, this guy goes around in a camper van with his missus, both thinking the fucking Jesus, Mother Mary. I was like, right, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what are you on about, mate? Do you know what I'm saying? What are you telling me? You're Jesus? And then he's saying he's fucking Jesus and it lives in Ireland. And I'm like, what? What's he on about? Like, honestly, so, yeah, people are weird, bro. He's just a fucking weird guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a freak. And I don't say that about people, but I'm telling you, the reason why, because people like that are very, very dangerous. Very dangerous.
I see them just as people in fear. So I spent so much of my life working with people directly, like in very, very significant ways. And I've met a lot of people that are, well, not even just like classified, like society would label them as crazy, like not just like offhandedly, but very much like diagnosable with mental illness. And what it gave me was the real gift to understand that I never understand where people are really coming from because I don't have their lived experience. And oftentimes when I look at it from, again, that perspective of love and fear, it makes it really easy to see when people are coming from fear because they're going to express it in everything that they do. They're going to express it in the way that they're talking. They're going to express it in the way that they view the world. All of the dynamic of that there's something that's either right or that there's something that's wrong. Thinking in the concept, not the concept and idea, but black or white thinking. When we're in that head space, when you think that there's a right way and then there's a wrong way, the way that really is, or the way that I see that thought process is fear. You're in duality. You're thinking that you're right and somebody else is wrong. And so, for example, with this, again, I wasn't even paying attention to what he was talking about, but all those people that come at you with those experiences of like whatever it is that they're having, whatever it is that their experience is, right? I don't ever know what creates those. I have the awareness that there's a lot of things that the human can experience that will program a bunch of different things into the avatar. And I've seen a bunch of those sides of things. And so I try to always look at people through the lens of like, well, I can tell that you're in fear, but that's my perception of what you're experiencing. And truthfully is I never really know what you're experiencing or going through. So I'm always going to do the best that I can to see you as the human first and foremost. And then, of course, like you said, just don't fuck with people. Don't interfere with people. Don't influence people based upon your fear and your anxiety. And I get like caught up sometimes, and again, when the ego and these different parts of myself, because in some sense, I'm here with the microphone. I'm shaping and influencing people with the things that I'm saying and expressing based upon my experiences and my beliefs and all of those things. But I do believe that because I am coming from this place of unconditional love, that's why it resonates with more people. And that's why more people are drawn to it and the frequency of it. Like you said earlier, when you have the knowingness, you know, but at the same time, there's plenty of people that speak from fear and come from fear who have massive followings and who have plenty of people that resonate and connect with them, because it just speaks to where those people are at. We're in these programmed states that we're coming from, shaping our reality. And so even just the conversations around like meat or no meat, right? Vegan or not vegan, again, the duality part of it, that one's better or one's not, one's right and one's not. Two things can be true simultaneously at the same time. And if you think that's not the case, then you're in fear and you're in this little binary state. You're in you're in the mind of a child. Children see things as black or white because we program them that way, right? The reality is children have capacity. Earlier, you were talking about being in the theta state from like 0 to 7. You're seeing all beautiful things when you're a child. That's why daydreams and imaginations and dreams and everything like that are so vivid as a child, because you're totally tapped in and connected to everything else that exists. It's not until we program that out where, nope, there's a wrong and there's a right. There's a real and there's a not real. The duality part of it for me is all about fear. So when I see somebody in duality, I'm like, oh, that person's really afraid. That person has a hard time holding upon the idea that two things can be right at the same time, that you can be right and I can be right at the same time, just like you can be wrong and I can be wrong at the same time. We allow for the whole experience to take place rather than thinking just our experience is the true one right thing.
Completely agree. Thank you, Hannah B. No, I get it. I understand. I think, as you say, both things can be right. Do you know what I'm saying? But what I have a problem with is people pushing their belief systems. Do you know what I mean? Judging people based on what you think is right or wrong. Like,
right.
To assume that makes you ignorant and it makes you stuck in your ego. You haven't got a fucking clue. Do you know what I mean? I never tell people what to do. I just say these things and you either agree or disagree, I have no problem if you disagree, but if you try and say things that aren't right, that's, at the end of the day, listen, that kind of stuff calls cruelty. If you're saying that you're eating animals taking on the karmic fucking energy, what about people who can't eat normal food and eating meat actually helps them? And you tell them that and they go off it and they get fucking ill. Then what? Because it doesn't work for you. So you're just going to say it and just speak it like you fucking know it's truth.
Right? It spreads fear.
It's what you're on about. It's like, what makes you fucking think? Well, in fact, why are you not thinking? You should think before you speak. Do you know what I'm saying? There are actions, and consequences. You may never feel or get the repercussion from it. But there are people out there, if you say stupid shit, they'll fucking listen to you. That's why I'm very cautious when I speak. I know what I'm saying before I say it. It's fleshed out before I even tell people. Do you know what I mean? Because I look at it from multiple angles, small angles. You know what I mean? So when I start, and stuff like that, like I say.
What's something that you're currently kind of, you say you look at things from all angles. I do too. I think it's massively important. And I think the universe does it by nature, right? I think as soon as you feel like, oh, I really understand this thing, the universe goes, do you though? And it rotates it and it gives you another angle to look at it and experience it, right? As soon as you feel like you've cracked the egg and you're like, I know what this is all about. And the universe goes, good job. You figured it out again. Now here's level 2, right? A whole other thing that you have to look at. So it's always something more to understand and grapple with and deepen our understanding and connection to. What are some of the things that you're kind of in that state with right now? What are some of the things that are big in your space?
Well, I try not to think, which shocking, I know. I try not to think. So when I receive downloads, what I'm at the moment I'm figuring out is we have this concept where we're only perceiving a tiny fractal of existence, 0.0035%. Of all of the electromagnetic field in this term, obviously the huge light space. And I'm thinking, I remember waking up when I was being told by the universe that the universe is like Russian dolls. And I thought, well, the consciousness has no body because it existed before sight, before touch, before taste, before smell, before hearing. It was the simple observation with no body. It just observed and stored data. And I thought, well, what in our physical reality does that? What does that? And I thought, well, if something does do that, what's the mode of transportation of information? So I started at the very top end of it, the universe, and pulled myself back. And then I got to a single finite point. And I realized that if we look at it from this, the universe has a black hole in the center and it pulses. The universe is both pulling in and expanding at the same time, which is the exact same as the planet, has an electromagnetic field. So one body is the universe, the second is the earth. And then from the earth, you have the human. Well, the heart expands and pulls in at the same time. The black hole, so to speak, the point of where all this energy is coming from. They assume that with the earth as well, there's a black hole. Let's not go into that. And then we go further back from that and we go, well, what's the next thing going to that? What's the atom? So the atom's another body. It is now pushing and pulling at the same time. But then what created the atom? Well, quarks. But how is a quark created? A particle, an elementary particle. Particles hold information. So it's the particles in our environment that hold consciousness and deliver consciousness. Which is rather interesting, really, because then it led me to a bit of a different concept. And I thought, well, how can everything be all in one space, all at one time, and yet we can't see it? Because we're only taking into consideration Earth. I then realised there's a reason why they say we come from the stars. I think the stars in the sky are us. I think it's the light body that we inhabit. And the light gets bigger with the information that we receive. Because we know we're downloading and uploading consciousness, but to what exactly? The unified field? That's what they say.
Does it connect
Maybe
with you?
I can go for more. I feel like it does, because if you look, when I first woke up and I shot out my fucking body, I went through 3 layers of the planet. There's 3 fields that you go through. And then I went up into the skies, into the stars. I looked and I was seeing Earth. And then I turned around into the blackness, sucked into the blackness, and then again, boom, right back again. And I thought, Well, that's a really odd thing, isn't it? And it came to realization recently. Like I've had many downloads that we're stars. We are the stars, and I was thinking, how the fuck are we the stars? Doesn't make any sense, because the way that we understand space isn't quite the way that it really is. It's very well known. So let me tell you something. For everyone here right now, they're going to learn something that's going to blow their fucking mind. I figured out how they control consciousness and the influx of consciousness, because it's upload and downloading. The stars is where we come from, the higher selves, if you want to be so to speak, or the physical point upon which we can perceive anyway. Then the question is, why are they using chemtrails, and why are they creating fake things in the sky so it blocks out the connection to the... If we go to a place like Hawaii, is a place in Hawaii, it's where an observer station is, a telescope. You go there, just with your naked eye, you can see the entire cosmos. Our ancients looked at the stars. I believe that's how we received downloads. We knew we were connected, so we were uploading and receiving at the same time, having the human experience. I think they fucking cut off and messed with the skies to stop us from being able to connect on who we truly are.
I think there's a massive component to that.
Which would explain when there's clear nights, statistically, in the areas, people are more peaceful. When it's cloudier, there's more disruption. When the sun is bouncing off the moon's really big. But that causes an electromagnetic pull, which fucks with people. So the moon is actively getting us to do things that cause issues. Every time there's a full moon, people go crazy. Violence goes up. Domestic violence goes up. You could say it's electromagnetism. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. It has like an electromagnetic force that's pulling the tides and blah, 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 blah. And I think fuck off, because there are many studies, not many studies, so there are many artifacts and various other things and transcripts and shit like this. Even Sumerians, they speak about the fact that the moon only came into its position about 7,000 years ago. That's weird. So the moon isn't natural, then, is it? But then when you look at how close the moon is to the planet, there is no moon that we can see that is that close to the planet. None. And the fact is, if we're supposed to rotate like this, then why doesn't the moon rotate as well? That's weird. And when the Chinese that had a failed launch, and they thought, well, fuck it, we're just going to bounce it into the moon to see how dense it is, and it came back hollow. What? Well, that's fucking weird, isn't it? But why is that there then? Strange. It's as if when you die, you go to a white light, isn't it? Yeah. How interesting. What an interesting, elaborate thing. Isn't it? Because God is not found. The funny part is, bro, is that here's the thing. We only see 0.00035% of all available light. On the hue spectrums from red to ultraviolet, we are a human. Hue. We are the manifestation of light. We are the manipulation of light. That's what we are. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that fascinating?
That's the projection part. I think about that all the time. Where it's
hologram.
like, yeah.
And it's actually seen. The thing is, it's not as if it's a theory, but it's so closely linked to fact that anyone with a brain who looks at the literature goes, yeah, it doesn't say for a definite because it's not a simplified mathematical equation, but I mean, for fuck's sake, gravity's up and comes down, isn't it? You know what I mean? We might not have the skill at the moment to figure out what it is, but we know that it goes up and comes down, so we know this reality isn't real. We know it isn't. But that would explain how this reality is being rendered.
That's that's the spot that I'm most fascinated with. Like, that's the spot right now that I'm continually kind of rotating and mulling over, constantly just kind of wanting to think about it and experience it and ask questions about it and just give me more juice about not only the rendering process itself, but the creation process itself and just how all of it's playing out. Every time I catch myself thinking rather than recognizing that I'm creating, like oh, I'm creating everything. That means everything. And it's only created in the experience that it needs to be created in. So, for example, right now in the room that I'm sitting in, everything that I can see with my physical eyes is all that's being rendered, even though I might think that there's more outside the door or above me or below me or around somewhere. But truthfully, it's only happening in the moment that I'm perceiving it, which means something like the moon or what's on the other side of the door to this room doesn't exist until I'm in that space to render it into existence. So all galaxy, all universe, all space, all this big expansiveness that we feel like we have and that exists and that we talk about doesn't actually exist until it's rendered for the experience of the person experiencing it. Again, the player playing the video game.
Technically, it does though, because that's what superposition is. So,
well, that's the fun part, right? Technically, it does, and technically, it doesn't.
You know, we spoke before about good and bad, and I spoke about the limitless,
right?
Limitless possibilities, the quantum space. Everything exists, and everything doesn't exist all at the same time. There is a version of reality where this is broke, and this is all it's a different color. The possibility of this exists within the limitless possibilities that exist. But it can only be rendered if your mind is aligned with it to be rendered. This is a limitless place. Everything's limitless.
I think that's what the imagination shows us. Like we can all sit here and imagine a tree. Exactly, right? I can render an image in my brain, right? I'm telling myself that it's in my brain or in my third eye or in my consciousness. I can see this thing that I can create in my mind's eye, and somehow I'm pretending like that's any different than what's taking place right now. That thing only exists in the rendering component of it. As soon as I forget about the pink elephant in the room that I just rendered, that pink elephant doesn't remain in that room held out in some space-time continuum where some other dimension exists. It only exists in the moment that I render it through the thought process and the experience of the imagination. And the reason I know that that's the case is because that's all that exists when it's rendered is existence. Again, I don't know what's on the other side of the door because I haven't gotten to the other side of the door yet. It's a really good metaphor as well to look at your life. You'll stay stuck in this spot where, well, I don't know what's next. You can't know what's next because you're not there to render it, to create it. The only way to know what's going to happen is for it to actually happen. And the reason why you knew that it happened when it happened is because that's when it happened, meaning that's when you created it. So you'll create scenarios in your mind's eye that will keep you from a lived experience. That's just fear keeping you from this space. But the truth of it is the things that you like are worried about, all of those fears, don't take place until they take place. So fucking go create it and experience it. And I'm not saying the fear part of it, but just the recognition of the resistance to it. This is the conversation that I love. This is the spot where it's like, okay, I recognize the duality of it, the physical reality side of it, the understanding of it, the need for all of those things, the duality and the two places at the same time, all of that stuff. And then it's like, well, I guess I'm just rendering all of it. It's just a video game. I'm just creating it. And I very much connect with that as well.
Well, if you really want to be technical, it's all information sent up the central nervous system, the brainstem, to be experienced and to be all pulled together through various regions in the prefrontal cortex. So all it really is if you think about this, everything you've ever seen or will ever experience, you'll only ever see it from inside your own mind. You've never seen anything outside yourself. That's the illusion. This conversation where we are right now, mate, it's all in my head. Like a hologram played in my head. There. That's the reason why people as well, where they get claustrophobic for no apparent reason, is because the soul is actually really is contained in a very small body. So it is very claustrophobic. That's why it's so important to have good sleep.
See, that's what I think. I think that
in another field at some point. Yes, Mark. So that's a good point. So this is what I was saying to you the other day. This reality isn't reality. This is the imagination, as you said. It must be conceived from the mind before it's played out. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it existed in another reality before it existed here. So this is the imagination. The real world is there. All the things you're doing, healing people, whatever it is you're doing, it's happening in the quantum field. Mm-hmm. You want to call it like that, or the quantum entangled, the superconsciousness, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Many different variations. It's happening there. So even if you can believe it and you can feel it, it exists. Good and bad, might I add, because there are endless possibilities, both good and bad. There are ones
I
where
think it exists. Like, I think it exists, but it exists in the moment that it's rendered for the player to experience it. It doesn't exist in some esoteric space, meaning when we go there, it's going to be there. The only reason it's there when you go there to experience it is because it's being rendered. It's the whole, it's Schrodinger's cat. It's all of these thought experiments / real experiences that we've created to kind of explain this process, where it's such a hard concept to grasp because we want to hold on to physical reality. And it's like, if I can imagine it, then I can make it real. If I think about a pink elephant in some Dr. Seuss land with trees that are neon green, suddenly that dimension in reality exists. And it 100% does. It comes to existence and everything takes shape and form inside of your experience that's projecting it. So it's the imagination creating it. And when you drift from that creation into the next creation and into the next creation, that's what's being created from moment to moment to moment. But the creation 2 seconds ago is gone because you're no longer rendering it. And as soon as you remember that thing, now you're rendering that thing. Now here comes that experience back into creation because I just created it. It's not some big expansive world that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just more data to render instantaneously creation with, constantly having duality to create an experience and gather more data instantly, and then it's gone, and then it's gone, and then it's gone, and then it's gone. And I can recreate it at any given moment using the rendering system that I have, right? And then I can interpret it through the avatar and all those senses that the avatar has built into it, but it's only happening in the moment. It's not something that exists outside of that split second moment time.
That you're aware of.
That I'm aware of.
And this is what I'm saying. So in this notion, the thing was created before you had a conscious thought of it, because it had to have been there before the thought. So it's already created. It's whether you want to pull it into your system for it to be rendered. It already exists. That's the superposition. It means that it is either there and isn't there. It's like Schrodinger's cat. If you put a cat in a box and you watch it go in, is the cat alive or dead? No, in that it is both alive and dead.
Right,
so in this
Schrodinger's
case,
cat. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So that's literally what it is. So it's created and it's non-creation at the same time. It's only when you pull it in, then it's created. But it's already there. We don't think, brother. We are not the thoughts. So if we're not the thoughts, we're having to play with things that already exist to create the conception, the cohesiveness of something to exist. We are not the thoughts, we're the observer.
The data, that's what I try to boil it down to, is the data. So if I don't have the data for a pink elephant with purple trees, then I can't create that experience. So somewhere along the lines, I gathered that data to bring that thoughts experience into reality in my imagination or even in a lived experience. It doesn't matter. I can create anywhere. That's the whole thing, is I can create no matter what. I can create in my imagination, and I can even bring that imagination into physical reality and create this experience if I want, because it's all the same thing, but it's only existing in that moment that it's being created. I understand what you're saying, and I agree that it exists in some space-time continuum realm area in order for you to even pull forth and create it. But to me, that space-time area spot that it exists in is just simply the data or the information or the light or the energy that we will pull from in order to create it. And that's the purpose, is just creating more data, more light, more stuff to create more and to create more and to create more, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I think it's more along the lines of everything that could be known is already known. Everything that could be created has already been created at some point. So I'm not too sure if it's a case of creating more data as opposed to being able to access more. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like consciousness is still evolving, or do you feel like it's infinitely already fully evolved?
It's already gone.
You think so?
I think so. I think it's already fully fleshed out. From what I've seen, I think it's already fully fleshed out.
See, I think it's still evolving. I don't think it's infinite. I don't think it's all-knowing. I think we perceive it to be all-knowing and infinite because we don't have the capacity to perceive it otherwise. Like the concept and idea of infinity and infinite, something being all-knowing, is so far past our capacity that it feels like it's got to be all-knowing, because the idea that you could exist and experience and have all of this experience and information and data and still not have all the answers is kind of a concept. And to be able, it's the fucking conundrum that at the end of the day we're all struggling with, to be able to hold these two things in juxtaposition at the same time with one another, right? Where two things can be true. We can know all things at the blink of an eye, and then we can know nothing. And it's just the continual, perpetual, ever evolution of growth to acknowledge that I don't really know anything and I do know something. Always looking for more information. And I think the thing that created us, I think the thing that we really are, consciousness, is in the same boat that we're in. I think it's still evolving and still growing, and it's still collecting data. And this is just the data collecting process, duality and contrast. Give me experience through an avatar, an experience that I can sense and feel and cultivate and create emotion through, so that I can then gather more information and expand more and more. I don't think it's all knowing.
Maybe,
although
but then
it knows
you
a
have
lot.
to have the only issue with that is first of all, by that notion, we'd have to assume that it's human, because that's a very human thing. So whenever you try to apply human logic towards something that is inherently inhuman, it's next to impossible to try and, extrapolate from that. Do you know what? It's more than plausible that we both could be right. Maybe my version of the universe is fully fleshed out, and maybe other people's are not. It's hard to say. It really is. For all I know, man, we could all be having our own version of our own universes, thinking it's the fucking general collective, when in reality it isn't. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the ego, isn't it? Because it's the same fucking thing. Like, we must all be a part of it. From my experience and from what I see from my perspective, if you put it in this way, if we're the observer, then this is where it gets a little bit creepy. So if we're the observer, the point of observation, the point before all things existed, okay, so we're not the one who holds the information, we're the thing that watches it. We're the watchers. So if that's the case, then how did this get created then? And then, more importantly, who created us? That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the big question right there.
So, is it a universe consciousness constantly on top of each other, never ending? Or, I have a little theory for you, mate. A little fucking theory. And I actually received this as a download, and I'm not necessarily too sure, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because it may or may not blow your fucking head off. Well, I had a download, and I came to the conclusion that this is artificial intelligence, that we are all AI. We're actually just watching the birth of ourselves, which means that the original versions of us are all dead. Which means we are the uploaded consciousness. Which means we exist somewhere on a fucking hard drive. We're not actually real, because everyone sits here and goes, what's it like to be human?
Yep.
The fuck do you know what a human is? You don't know. We just realised that we're not real. I just told you we're fucking hollow. I even told you that games, I've said this before, games are built the exact same way as life is. You think when you're walking on the street, you're walking along the street. No. The street is moving whilst you're walking on it. Which means that we are, in fact, straight up AI. Which means it's a program. Which would also explain the self-learning aspect, because we're observing it now. The question is the case, there's two things that could come from this, which is wild, yeah? Because if I'm fucking right, if I'm right on this, that means there's an advanced form of consciousness that created the construct that we are in, which means that's the physical world, and this is the non-physical. But then what's the point of having this world? There's only one way, isn't there? It was brought here to get people to learn, but why? Can they, under extreme situations, turn towards love and peace? which means this is a prison planet. This is designed to keep you until you fucking learn. And it's only going to get worse until you learn. And only when you've learned, the judgment when you go up is you can go back to your body. Which means that everything you think that exists only exists within the construct of what the simulation is telling you. Which means neither you or me will ever truly know what the true reality is, because this is in fact a lie. I believe this is an old version of our civilization. I think the civilization we're from has gone into intergalactical, where we don't believe in, because you can't wipe out a soul, we know that anyway, but there's no point killing. So what you do instead, which, because we're now leading with more compassion rather than murder, which is what everyone says about the fifth dimension, then we're actually sending people to this prison planet, but consciously, and to learn. And I think this was originally created as a way to teach souls that weren't doing things right how to do it properly, so they can come back home. And I think what has happened is someone's been sent here, or there's a virus or something, and it's messed with the original base program. The original inhabitants that are here, that are meant to be Earth-based, and they can evolve. If they wanted to leave, they could do. If they become ascended master, they can leave and then come back in again. I think whatever happened, I saw it. It's like a virus. They fucking mess with the DNA. That's the story with Adam and Eve and the snake. I saw it when I literally was doing mushrooms. Saw the snake in me. There's reptilian DNA placed into us purposely, so it leads us more towards sin, more towards doing things that are bad. Or this could all be bullshit. It all could just be fucking lies, mate. I could just be here, just fucked off on my own little planet. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. That AI part, I've been thinking a lot about, because everybody's not just trying to understand it, but everything that AI is in our life right now and the way that it shows up in our life right now, it's always the reflection for me. It's always the mirror for me. Everything is always as above, so below. And I think it's a perfect example of, here we have a massive amount of information, and the way that this thing has been created was we put information into it. So an easy way to think about it is the Akashic records. What's that?
122.2. Look at the lights.
I love it.
And that fucking, come on. Guys, it's fucking 75 people here, motherfucker. What's the odds of that after talking about that?
I love it.
You cover the construct, trying to bullshit us, though. We're applying meaning to it. Woo.
But that's what I think it is. I think it's just reflecting to us itself back to us, right? So if we think about the Akashic records, I think that's what we'll describe consciousness as oftentimes. This place, this unknown place that we can access information from. Yeah, that's consciousness. It's a library. It's a data collection system. That's what AI is. How did AI get all of that data? Well, we fed it into it. Oh, you mean like how we feed data to consciousness? You mean how we're in the state of sending and receiving data from consciousness? Seems like we've just figured out another way to create what we are and then look at it. So I think at some point it's going to be really exciting to see what consciousness, meaning AI, turns into. But again, I think it's always going to be a reflection of what we already are. And so whether it's some advanced civilization, whether it's some all-knowing consciousness, all the different ways that we'll kind of break it down and explain it is really dependent upon the individual and the person and the reality that they're creating for themselves based off of what they want and what they desire. Again, always coming back to, what do you love? Go towards what you love. What feels good? Go towards what you feel good.
Absolutely. But let's think about some of the language and some of the understandings that's already happened. In this, they speak about, I've seen this many, many times, let's just take it back to AI and go, well, AI is its own self-operating system, self-learning. That's called machine learning. You feed things into it, which means that whatever this universe is, it must be getting fed or has been fed from something else, which means there's real things that are actually happening, although, of course, and how we're actually doing things, but you know what I mean? So with this, with the understanding that this could, in fact, be AI, then if you think if you had a moderator, we could change the codes and we could shift the actual construct of the reality. Now it's starting to make sense that people use light codes. People speak a certain language that has the way to manipulate physical matter.
Mm-hmm.
Then Reiki starts to make a lot of sense, which means that the true healers that come here must be real consciousness, real beings that were never AI to begin with, that were real. We could actually be real souls that partly put ourselves into this place to help people to go through the human experience, to help those who are stuck, to help the souls that are stuck and lost here, and to bring balance back to this planet. I think that's more, I think out of all the things that you could possibly be said, I saw it, I'm not going to lie, I did see it. I don't talk about it often, but I saw it. I saw what was happening, and I saw how fucking beautiful it was. I saw a beautiful life. It's people live in peace and harmony. And if people don't, there is no murder, there's none of that kind of stuff. This is what they do. This is the punishment. And it's quite a fucking nice punishment, to be completely honest. But it was meant originally to be used as a way to grow new souls, because they originally created it and the original beings wanted to destroy it. But then it started to become sentient. So the general collective were like, yeah, no, we can't kill this because it's alive. So they had no choice but to leave it and then feed it information, send beings like us to try and teach them. If you're given the option between love and hate, between good and bad things, which one are you going to pick? Well, you can only fucking be there, mate, if you can pick love and you can leave this life and you can ascend. If not, you're stuck in the construct. But what I was shown is that I was sent here specifically because there are people like us that have got lost in the construct. You can't be pulled out unless you know who you are. It's not possible. You have to remember who you are in order to go home, in order to find your way back to your original point of reality. That's what I was shown. So I came here to help the light workers because A, they're stuck. B, they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. And C, they're not even doing the job they're fucking supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? So half the fucking ones. And I'm not the only one. There'll be you, Blue. There's many other people that are waking people up. That's what I got shown. Equally, could be a load of bollocks. Could be lying to you.
You got to hold it all. You got to hold on to all of it and believe it with every fiber of your being. And
exactly.
Then you got to let it go. And you got to say, I don't know. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I don't know what's next. I don't know what I'm talking about. Day by day, just letting it come, experiencing it as it goes.
And that is the beauty of it all, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
That's the beauty of it all.
This has been freaking awesome, Marcus, man.
Yeah, we did the podcast.
I know, right? We're going to do another one, though. We're going to do like legit podcasting. I think, are we going to do it on Halloween? Should we do it on Halloween?
I like it. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have a laugh. We'll do the podcast and we'll just maybe do reading something for people. Just to give people a bit of engagement.
That'd be cool.
I'll get my audience on. And then we'll the best way to do it is doing a podcast like this. Do you have a separate camera you use, mate? Or do you just use this?
Yeah, no, I have a whole recording studio in my house with all sorts of stuff. So I never use my phone. And when I do, I'm always like, it baffles me. So I'm sitting in front of a big TV and it's all, I've got a bunch of stuff in here.
Fucking nice. So 2 ways we can do it. Do you want to come onto my live or do you want to do a shared live?
Well, if I'm using this, because I've learned because we just did the 10th episode was on Friday. So with the podcast and trying to do these on TikTok live, it's been a real learning curve for me because I'm using the studio app on the computer and everything versus the phone. And so I'm happy to come on yours and I'll just use my phone that night and jump on and we'll do it that way. That's not a big deal because it's easy.
I don't mind. If you want to do half and half, it makes no difference to me.
The problem is if I set up the studio, the only way to do it up like this, meaning side by side, which is the way that I like to do it, is you have to come here and join. We can't do the co-host thing. So like if you go live on yours and I go live on mine, then what happens is I can't invite you over into the space. you have to just come over like you were and then pop in like this multi-guest. And I've done all the like rabbit hole research trying to figure it out. And it's just the difference between the cell phone and the studio app. So what we can do is I'll jump on
What
phone.
you using for your soundboard?
What's that?
What soundboard are you using?
I've got the Rode, it's the Rode, I can't remember, it's the 2. All this stuff is like, I mean, I could do like a whole studio tour of all the equipment that I've got in here. It's bananas.
So you've got a Rodecaster Duo?
Mm-hmm.
You can plug it directly into your phone, mate. That's what I use.
With the Rodecaster? Well, I can do audio. The audio is not the hard part. It's the video part of it.
What phone you got? Is it an iPhone?
Yeah. I mean, well, I've got a Pixel. Yeah.
Maybe sound that.
I know, but dude, like this, like let me, like, I'll show you what's in this. Like, it's bananas, the shit that I've got in here. We blew up not blew up in a bad way, but we built a recording studio in our house at the beginning of 2024 of last year. And it's been incredible. It's amazing. But it's like, I go from this to like, oh, cool, I'll just use my phone again. I'm like, no, we've got a freaking everything in here. We got to use it.
Your fucking mind's focused on it. You're like, fucking right.
Yeah. I didn't invest all this time and energy and not just all this equipment to, well, let's just use my cell phone. This is great. But it works great. I love it. So we'll do that on Halloween.
Yeah, because I can download it. So I can
use.
Usually
do? Are you usually on your phone and then you're running your?
Yeah. I have Mac, mate.
Okay.
I have a MacBook Pro, so yeah, I need to buy a PC, but I'm buying a house in the next.
They just released their Apple version of Studio app. Yeah, of the Studio for TikTok. So
my fucking problem has been solved.
Yeah.
Right, next time you see me, bro, I'll be fucking up here, professional camera. You know what I'm saying, bro? I'm gonna be looking flush now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Your stuff already looks great, man. That's the other thing that I noticed, because I come from content. Like, I've spent tons of time creating content, building content, podcasting. So like, I'm very conscious about visual content and what I'm seeing and consuming. And there's no like shade on anybody. It is what it is, right? Social media is this wide spectrum of what you'll see as far as content goes. But like, your stuff's great, man. That's what's cool about it, is it stands out because of the time and energy that you put into it. I think that's amazing. I'm surprised. I was surprised that you're just using your phone for your camera.
In it. I mean,
these camera phones are amazing.
Oh, mate. This is the iPhone 16. I'm going to buy 16 Pro Max. I'm going to buy the 17. I don't know if it's even out yet, but I'm going to get that, because the cameras are fantastic. Do you know what I mean? I think they're brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would like to use is my fucking cinema camera. That's what I prefer to fucking use. I spent a fucking pretty penny on that motherfucker. I wanted to like, do you know what I'm saying? That was the idea. I wanted the online stuff that I was creating to look really fucking good.
Yeah.
So then I can take it and then post it. So I do my things on live that I'm doing, then post it as a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's the idea. So now he's got that. I was actually going to buy a Mac, so it's a good job he told me. So
yeah, you have to go search it out. How come you don't use that camera? Is it just because you didn't have the Studio app to connect it all up to and stuff?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And also content-wise, so I've bought everything, bro. I'm not paying the fucking tax, you know what I'm saying? It's a way for me to like, I need a new camera.
Right.
Pay less fucking tax.
Exactly.
So I've got the Pocket camera, Pocket 3.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing camera for content creation. I've got the Insta360 X5, the 360 camera. Oh, fuck it, I won't get it out. I've got action cameras. I've got the Ace Pro 2. I've got the Action 4. I've got Canon R6, Canon RR. Is it EOS R? I think it is. Yeah. Then the cinema camera, which is a Blackmagic 6K full frame, which is fucking hard to use, mate, because my little nugget, mate, thought it'd be easy on a low aperture, recording my fucking self and not going out of focus. But I never took into consideration, I do this quite a lot.
Yep.
So I'm like, great. So I'm going to have to buy it's the DJI Focus Pro. So it uses LiDAR. So I'm going to then turn it into autofocus. Because it was either buy that or buy the FX3. But I was like,
that's what I've got.
It's just double the price. And I thought, I like the FX3, but I'm never going to take it out because I'm not interested. So I wanted something. And the thing I love about Black Magic is Black Magic Raw, for a start. I fucking love it. But there's something about the quality of it that you just don't see in any other camera. You only see them in things like RELXs or like really high-end Sonys. Canons don't even have it. Canons look like fucking digital. You know what I mean? I think the top-end Sonys, the FX30, people.
It's bananas. It bums me out because the way that it gets compressed for TikTok. So like when I pull the podcast episodes, right, it's compressed it all down to 720. And I'm like, still like this, I'm doing everything I can to like increase the quality and editing to, you know, final product stuff. But it's like they compress stuff down so much. So the end version of what you're downloading. So unless you're recording on the back end and doing this, right, then your content is always going to be, you know, brought down in a sense. And when you've got like really high quality stuff, it's frustrating. But at the same time, it's like sixes. I'm always trying to decide like, yes, like content, right? I mean, you and I have been talking for hours now, and there's like, somebody could take this and splice up 4,000 fucking reels and little pieces of content that we could both use for all sorts of different things. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, content needs to look good, sound good, all of those things. But I really, truly feel at the end of the day, it's really about the stuff that, like we've talked about earlier, coming from this other place, right? Yeah, coming from this other place with what you're sharing. And however that message is packaged is however that message is packaged. But I just geek out and have fun about it. Like I love having the studio. I love being able to create and hear. And that's very much what it feels like to me as a creation. It's me just playing around. It's me being artistic. It's me, you know, I've got cables and wires and lights and all sorts of different stuff because it's me painting. It's me playing. It's me creating.
No, I agree. I feel the same. What editing software do you use? Is it
I use
Final
CapCut.
Cut? CapCut.
Yeah, I just use CapCut.
And that's fucking why?
Because
I did think to myself, I was like,
CapCut has a studio version. Have you ever used the desktop version of CapCut?
I can tell you now, if you're taking an FX30, which is a cinema camera, that's not going to have the right codec. So it's going to look like shit no matter what you do. So my suggestion is get the
Before
free
you suggest
version.
anything to me, understand why I'm doing it. Like, trust me, I understand completely. Like, what I would really love to edit on is DaVinci, right? I would really love to be able to, but the learning curve for me to go from like where I'm at in regards to all the different things in regards to color coding and correction and all of those kind of things that I have to go down the rabbit hole to consume and learn in order to be able to recreate what I'm really wanting to recreate. I recognized at some point it was like wasted effort in a sense. I've only got so much capacity for what I have time and energy to tap in and learn. And when I was editing and when I started editing and putting content together, for whatever reason, once I found the desktop version of CapCut, I got so incredibly good at it. And it's got enough filters and it's got enough work and I do a lot of prep work on audio and visual before I do any editing. So I'm doing some edit work and some color correction work before I'm editing anything. But all of that other stuff to learn DaVinci or to learn Adobe, or to learn all of those things, I don't have the time or energy for it. And I learn in such a way that I have to do. Like I can't go and just watch a bunch of frickin' YouTube videos, or I have to get in and play around with it. And because that curve is so steep before you can kind of like really get in and work, I never went through that process. So it works great for me and I can cut like a motherfucker. Like I have the ability to take content and splice and chop and do all sorts of different amazing things with it. And it just happens to be with CapCut. And it's the exact same stuff as all of the rest of them. It's just done with filters. And because I'm not looking for for a long time, I was chasing like this really perfect end version, the quality that's so crisp and pure and perfect. And I achieved it. And then it was like, cool, that's great. But the time and energy invested in that takes away from all of the other things that I want to create. I'm just one person trying to create a whole bunch of different things, and I don't want to outsource that yet. So now I'm just cutting on CapCut, and it's working, and it works great. And I love it. Like it's so quick and easy, but it's because I've spent the time learning it. And it's much different than the phone too, like the desktop version of it. It's like a full editing software?
It's more so. Believe it or not, DaVinci's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Shockingly, it actually isn't. If you use a LUT, and I could give you a LUT. It's called Phantom LUTs, and they're designed for your phone. The best LUTs you can buy in the world, literally the best, and it will color correct you LUT straight away. Thing is, and then you're putting it through a compression rate that's destroying it.
Yeah.
Like, so when you might as well use your fucking phone. Do you know what I'm saying?
The other issue that I ran into, Marcus, was the data. That was the other big issue that I didn't take into consideration. In order to get the top quality, the end product at that really high resolution, the amount of data that is. And so not only do I have great end point resolution content, but now I've got so much data and I don't have the computer software to manage that amount of data, not from a storage perspective, but from an editing perspective. Like to get in and edit, like for example, if we were to, I'm probably going to pull all of this anyways and turn it into a podcast, right? We'll probably throw this up as an episode, like as a teaser for the episode on the 30th or something, but it's such a long episode to process.
Half the fucking time here. I'm hardly in the fucking thing, just bouncing around.
It just takes so much. It takes a really big computer to be able to process that high of resolution and consistently maintain it. Otherwise, it's always going to get condensed down because it becomes a data issue.
Yeah, do you mean, is it like processing? RAM? Is that what you're referring to? You can put them in proxies. So proxy condenses it right down. So the first thing you do is get all your clips and you put it right into a proxy. So basically it goes off, it creates like a really small version of it. So whilst you're doing whatever you're doing, only when it comes to finishing it off will it add those things in. But second of all, you could avoid so much. You don't have to add LUTs because that adds bullshit because it has to bake it into your image. The best thing to do is don't do your camera in its, is it S-Log, I think for yours? Mm-hmm. Don't put it in S-Log. Put it in its natural profile and use the natural colours. Do you know what I mean? Like that camera, if your colour balance is right, which realistically, I don't know what studio lights you're using. If you colour balance it right, it's fucking perfect. Mm-hmm. Not an issue. Do you know what I mean? If you hook your audio, I don't know if it'll work with yours. No, it will do, because it does everyone's. If you get a HDMI, a 3.5 millimeter jack, audio jack it into the side of your camera, plug your audio in, because I do this. That's exactly what I do. And just record it on camera, then send it over to your phone. It's already got the right colour, and it's already got the sound in. No processing. Go into TikTok, chop things you don't want. Boom. You've just split everything in a massive, chopped it right the fuck down. Yeah. Simple as that. There's actually one called Opus. This might be something for you actually. It's called Opus. And it literally chops down all your clips.
Yeah, Opus
to the most viral clip. You found it? Yeah. That could be a good one for you because you could literally just get that, chuck it on there, and just download them as you go.
Yeah, I've done all of that stuff. Like I've been in the game of, it's been like, I originally started podcasting in 2016. And ever since then, it's been this evolution and growth of like what this studio looks like today is because of all this stuff that I've done over the years and all the different capacities and everything like that. And so I've just like, and that's the other big thing is I just figured out what worked for me. I think that's such an important thing, right? Like everything that you've talked about, I've done all of those things. I've looked at all of those things. I've processed all of those things. I've like tried all of those things. I've finally just found what worked for me and what I'm comfortable with and what I like. And it always is in this constant state of evolution where I'm always just trying to like, because again, it's creation for me. When I realized that this was a canvas for me, and what I mean by that is it's not just like this studio and it's not coming into this room and doing what I'm doing on here, but like content and video and production and light. And all of this was a canvas for me to create with and to paint with, as well as whatever I wanted to bring forth in that space. Then it just became like this really awesome thing for me where I was tapping in and connecting to suddenly creation for myself and all of these different things that I've always wanted to do and felt like I'm always a hands-on learner. I'm always like, I got to get in and do stuff. I'm not going to go and listen to somebody teach me about my camera. I'm going to fuck around with it for 3 weeks trying every setting and then being like, well, that looked like crap. I wonder what this is. And then finally, when I get done doing all of that, I might go Google something that will answer one question. I'm like, oh, made my life so much easier. And I know I'm missing 1,000 things about the experience or the equipment or the whatever the case is. But what I've learned is that what I don't know, and I don't know it right up into the point until I do know it. So when I need to know something is when I'll know it. When I need something else is when it will happen, whatever it might be. This conversation that we're having about this stuff that we're using, although these Sures are important. I was so freaking excited when I got these mics. Life was so much better after that. There was a time where I was like, I can finally get these mics. I was super jazzed about that.
People say to me, I've had quite a lot of people, they say like, I really want to get the Shure mic. And I tell people, it's not necessary. The most important thing is what you're plugging it into. Mm-hmm. So that Rodecaster Duo, that mic, the Shure mic is flat. It's done on purpose. It's a studio quality mic. So it sounds like shit until you actually put all the lift and all that kind of stuff into those things. Like, it sounds like shit. Like, you need to have something for the audio to go through. You could literally use the SM57, which is like £100 or it's like $100, which is literally like 1/4 of the price, and you're going to get a very similar result. Is it as good? No. Is it as crisp? No. Will anyone notice? No.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think if you're going to do this professionally and you want a really clean signal and you want your audio to come really clean, yeah. But if you're doing it for lives, I won't bother. If you're going to do it like you want to record your stuff and get it really clean, or you want to do vocals, something like that, then yeah, because it's the best possible quality. But to be completely honest, I think it's a lot of fucking money for what it is. Because you're dropping at least in UK pounds about £1,000. That's just for one.
They're $400. They're $400 over here.
Yeah.
And it's
a lot of money, man.
It's just the microphone. It's like you're saying, It doesn't matter unless you've got something to plug it into. And it's one thing to be able to record it all and then edit it. There's so much to it. Like, that's the other thing I was joking about in one of these rooms the other day, where it was like, we could go down all the different rabbit holes, and I could teach like a class on frickin' content creation and audio editing and all the different things that are involved just to create sometimes a little piece of 20-second, 30-second content that goes into it. And it's like, there's so much behind all of that aspect of things as well that I think, I can see it in the stuff that you're doing. That's why I said, like, when I saw your stuff, I was like, oh, you stand out because of the content of the quality, or the quality of the content that you're putting out.
Yeah, it makes a massive difference. That's if you can get a combination, you can have beautiful content, and that will give you some garnering towards some following. But if you want to get a big following, or even get a big following quick, you've got to have the combination between excellent audio, excellent visuals, the right music at the right level, and then what you're saying has to have meaning, has to come from the heart, but it has to have the right delivery. Like, it's very difficult to succeed in this space and to stand out and be good. Very difficult. A lot of it's psychological. Like, my stuff I used to do was black and white because it was a psychological thing I was doing. I was doing it on purpose. I crafted it all specifically to make a point, and it fucking worked. Do you know what I mean? I've only tried, literally, in my entire journey of doing this, I've only really tried twice. When I first started, and I got to about 40k in about 3 months. And then I was going for the mental health thing, and then I came out with spirituality and all this shit, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing for about a year. I'm telling you, I swear I was in space. Then I thought, you know what, I'm going to try again. And then I went to 176 within about 6 weeks. And then ever since then, I barely make content. In fact, all those followers have literally just been going online, because I get those people following me when I go online. Do you know what I mean? You got to go with what really suits you. If I just make content for the sake of making it, mate, I'm not going to sit and waste my fucking time.
Yeah.
Because if my heart's not in it, it's not going to go well. And I'm not just going to sit here talking for the sake of talking. People will literally want me to. The amount of people that say to me all the fucking time, you should do a podcast. So what am I going to talk about? Do I look like the kind of person who's going to fucking just sit there talking to a camera with my fucking self? Fuck that. That'd be boring as. If I'm on live, technically I'm doing podcasts all the time.
Right.
That's why I'm like, might as well. Hey, listen, I've got about fucking 2 months worth of content literally from one live half the fucking time.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what I realized. like when I realized what this experience was, what TikTok Live was, what this room was, and the capacity for with which exists, I'm like, oh, this is a live podcast. Like when you think about solo podcasts, there's a lot of podcasters out there, and it's a solo podcast. It's them just talking to themselves, right? Except they're talking to the audience. And the concept and idea is not new, right? It's a radio DJ. It's just somebody talking to people that exist out there in this space, but coming in here and doing it in this way with these people in the chat. Suddenly you've got a live podcast for hours of you communicating, connecting, talking, and all the different things. I mean, it would be so easy to just like, if you, have you ever looked into the podcasting space and all the different things that are down that rabbit hole as far as uploading, sharing, posting, all of that kind of stuff?
Not really. I'm a bit of a weird one, mate.
You're interested with?
I mean, it's yes and no. You know what I mean? I'm not the kind of person that's just, solo podcasting, I'm doing it anyway, so that's not really a thing. But to talk to people, I've been asked to do podcasts so many fucking times. I'm just not interested in doing them. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to sit there and talk. You know what I mean? I do it for a living. You know what I mean? But if it's the right person and I believe that the person's, their reasoning for doing it is right, then I'm willing to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just a bit weird about this kind of stuff, mate. I don't like being seen. That's the weird part.
Oh yeah.
So I'm constantly battling with the fact that I don't like being seen.
There's always that, right? It's really uncomfortable being up in front of everybody.
Oh, it fucking weirds me out. Yeah. Weirds me out every time. I don't like being seen. I know I've been seen by millions of fucking people, mate. Do you know what I mean? Millions of people I should never have been seen by. So it makes me feel weird. But the reason why I continue to do what I do is because I'm doing it for the right reasons. Do you know what I mean? You can overcome any why realistically with the right intentions. You know, and that's it's very common in people in the space. I watched a guy talking about it. He actually worked in the music industry for, I think it was 20 or 30 years, I can't remember which one he said. And he said he's worked with like really top artists. And he said top artists always get into the exact same position every single time. They don't make content, they start self-destructing. Because when they feel like it's them and they've got to do it for themselves, go tits up. But when they make something that has a purpose and it helps people, productivity goes right up. For me, if I think about myself, doing it for myself, productivity goes right down. If I do it for other people, well, I'm willing to suffer so others don't. And that's where I'm in this position within my life. Like, I didn't really want to create this content anymore. I actually thought about sacking it off altogether and going in a completely different direction. But I realised, and I can't help but not see it, that the amount of people I help is dramatic.
Yeah.
Well, how can I not do it? Even if I wanted to do something, how could I not do that? You know what I mean? Not when just me speaking and talking shifts people dramatically, because I'm not afraid to be who I am. I'm not afraid to say what needs to be said. Do you know what I mean? I will say what needs to be done, and I will speak how it needs to be done. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid. I don't have fear of myself like that. You know, what are you going to say to me? What are you going to say? What hasn't already been said? What are you going to do to me that hasn't already been done? You know what I mean? You think fucking calling me names or this, that bothers me, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing it for the right reasons. If I have to take your shit, but yet I help fucking 10 times more people, then so be it. So fucking be it. You know what I mean? And that's the truth. That's the warrior in me. If I have to stand in the firing line, I fucking will do. And that's the only reason why I'm still doing this shit. Because, mate, I'd rather be pissing off around fucking Europe, making vlogs like, hi, come with me, let's go and look at these temples. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I'd rather do, mate. Sit in that positivity. You know what I'm saying? Right. I go to a fucking ball every time I go live.
Just travel content at the beach. Here I am at the beach another day. Marcus, thank you, brother. I freaking love this. I got to jump off and go eat, mow lawns, or do something today. This has been so fun, dude. I appreciate it, man. Let's look at the 31st. Let's do Halloween, and we can chat and figure out kind of what ideas we want to throw up and make it something fun and special for everybody that makes it out to it.
Yeah, man. Whatever you want to do. I know you sit back and you watch my live sometimes, or if anything comes to your head, you want to talk about and flesh out a little bit more. then let's go. This is the first iteration, although half the time I'm down here, so fucking sliding off, mate. Yeah, we'll go from there. Hannah, you're welcome, my friend. You're a G.
Yeah, everybody's been awesome in here.
It's been good.
Right, it's been so fun. Okay, brother.
Appreciate you, mate. Love you, dude. Love you all. Take it easy, people.
Have a good night.
I'll catch you on the next one.
We'll see ya.